Okay, so here I am. I'm going to be starting my Christmas card selling project out in front here. So I'm going to pick up some of the supplies. And the first thing is to get my board. Oops. We haven't got our distinctive license plates yet. We're still learning on Angela's Start show how to deal with it. Everybody has their particular battles. But so far we're registered with the state. So these are my Christmas cards. And we're off. So here we are starting with Pot Talk TV show, and the idea that I had was to be available here at Union Square and let people come and share their thoughts on what they think is going on with the marijuana issue, and to pick up some Christmas cards while you're at it for a very nominal donation of $2 each. And when we have public access producers, if you want, we can sign the cards for you. There's one special card with Joe Friendly. Yours truly. What are you thinking about pot these days, Joe?
I'm hopeful that it could be the fuel for the revolution, the way we can rescue our culture from commercialism, people waking up, coming to their senses. But I think there needs to be some guidance for that to happen. Marijuana unguided might not be human progress.
You want to sit and talk about that? Because that's a big graph, I think. What do you mean about unguided? Because I also feel that the sacred value of marijuana, which has to do with healing and so on, in different traditions, is not often appreciated when it's only looked at as a commercial commodity.
I think education is a term to apply, that the people ought to be educated, but also urged, I said originally guided, that marijuana turns on suggestibility. Some people just write it off as making you laugh and leave it at that. But I think...
They give it a laugh, you mean like it's just a party thing, TV?
Yeah. It makes you laugh. I know about marijuana. It makes you laugh. I always laugh when and I'm thinking that those thoughts that provoke the laughter should be held on to before the laughing gets going. To use marijuana's power of enhancing the whole operation of the nervous system, to not take the easy road off and giggle about it as if that's all there is to do. That there's a need to correct things, for example. That when you giggle, it's sometimes because things are wrong. And so,
when you giggle, there's a sense of wrong?
Yeah, people are doing things the wrong way and you laugh at that.
Are they kind of tittering, that they're kind of bad boys and girls, and then there's sort of that meaning?
Well, the additional revelations that come to mind, sexuality can be laughed at as opposed to danced upon and stuff like that.
As opposed to what?
Danced.
Danced upon.
Provoking a dance.
I'm sorry, I'm making you repeat. It's just your voice is a little low. And we are out here. We're out here again. I want to remind you at Union Square at the southeast corner, where you can express free speech and the First Amendment rights. That's what they decided. If you have material that's expressive, and that's what we feel our material is, we're encouraging people to support community TV by coming down and seeing us. And that's why, actually, can you move this closer here? Because I want to talk more to you about this and then get the pot TV and see how that looks. It's almost like Tantra. Some people feel an orgasm is a waste. Other people feel like Wilhelm Reich, he wrote a book in the 50s called The Nature of the Orgasm, and it had orgasm in the title, and they locked him up. But he felt that orgasmic energy was healing energy.
Take a look.
You want to be on television?
What is this about?
Anything you want to say. It's about marijuana legalization. I don't want to put you on
I'm
camera.
bipolar. I don't take my meds. I just keep high.
Do you want to be on camera?
I don't mind.
Okay, great. What's your name?
Jesse.
And what do you think about marijuana?
It's great. It should be legalized.
Right. Come closer.
It's helped me with my depression, my bipolar issue. I don't take my meds. I smoke marijuana, and it helps me.
What did they prescribe?
Seroquel,
Can you
Klonopin.
Would you mind sitting here and talking to us and being comfortable?
We lost
I'll get it. I'll get it. Thank you. I just want to go more deeply into this. You have a bipolar disorder?
Yes. Officially.
No, I don't.
Officially diagnosed with bipolar, borderline personality disorder, antisocial disorder. When I smoke pot, I get along with everybody.
Antisocial disorder?
Yeah.
And then you came up and engaged us when a lot of people are shy to be on. Because you just smoke.
You're high, and that's why you're doing good.
Well, I don't see
How much does it take for you to get where you need to get? How many puffs?
3 or 4. Yeah.
3 or 4?
You don't have to finish a whole cigarette.
No, I never do.
It's so expensive today, you know.
It's getting expensive, but I know where to go.
How much you pay for it? How much do you buy at a time?
Two dimes. Yeah. I wish I could. Number 1, have a place, and number 2, be able to grow my own. It helps me. It can help everybody, and so many, especially psychological issues. For the pharmaceutical industry, it's I don't.
When you say the industry, you mean the medications that you get for your bipolar disorder that professionals
the corporations that make these medications knowingly these are artificial it's not even a medication. Medication heals. Pharmaceuticals only deal with the symptoms, but not with the cause at hand.
Right.
I had muscular dystrophy.
You had muscular dystrophy?
Yes.
Really?
I had hepatitis C, and I healed it with using natural medication.
Natural medication. What else did you use besides marijuana?
I drink once in a while.
What's that?
I drink occasionally.
Alcohol?
Yeah. Wine.
Okay. No. I know red wine is supposed to be really good for anti-many things. Is that what you were meaning, Joe, that people need to learn how to use it in order to benefit?
Yeah, what do you think about that idea, that marijuana would be of more benefit to society if there was more guidance? Like right now it's demonized, and therefore people, as soon as they take it, their mind doesn't necessarily go to where it could go with some guidance.
Yeah, people think that to get high you need to smoke a whole blunt. And that's abuse.
Too much.
When you put a whole dime bag in tobacco leaf, it's too much.
Another thing is that as opposed to alcohol, it's not an escape. It's sort of like you get deeper into yourself.
Definitely, I believe so. I agree with you. It helps you introspectively.
Sort out things. You grow.
Definitely.
You grow psychologically and spiritually?
Spiritually. What about the spiritual?
Yes.
What about the spiritual?
And I think that's one of the reasons why it's illegal. Because they know how it helps people spiritually. And they want to keep us bound.
But don't you... But you know... do you think pot smokers are a little passive? Because we should stand up for our rights. And it seems what we've learned about legal things, the pot people have been the most behind, as opposed to the Second Amendment people.
Well, I blame it on the lawyers. There haven't been that many lawyers. Like I saw a guy on public radio argue that and he was a constitutional lawyer, and he was justifying the federal crackdown on state legalized marijuana, and he could have said no, the marijuana laws are unconstitutional, but he didn't go that direction, which is temptation among professors to sell out so they get tenure and all the rest of it. But it was wrong thinking.
There shouldn't be force. There would be when it's time, the opportunities will arise, doors will open when the moment is right. Right now they said,
Hey, David, you want to come and talk to us?
Somebody asked me a question I can answer. But
You have to go?
When's your birthday? When's your birthday?
June 18th.
And when's your mother's birthday?
I don't get along with my mother. She didn't raise me. My grandmother did.
When's her birthday?
Huh?
When's your grandmother's birthday?
She's not sure because she doesn't have a birth certificate. Somewhere in May. Not the number.
And what about your mother? Do you know her birthday?
No, but I know she's Virgo.
Virgo.
Yeah.
It's 3 months apart among birthdays is when you don't get along, and Virgo is 3 months from June 18th.
He's got a whole theory on the birthday. You want to come back again? Take those cards as a gift from us, and come back and bring some of your friends. And bring some of your friends, and we can get the dialogue going, and we're going to be on Community TV, Manhattan Neighborhood Network, at 12 noon every day.
12 noon every day?
No, I'm on television at 12 noon every day.
What channel? I don't have television. This is my internet
Okay.
system.
Then you want to go to mnn.org, and it comes on at 12 noon. MNN, Mary Nancy Nancy, Manhattan Neighborhood Network, MNN.org.
MNN.org.
And at 12 noon I come on, farther down the rabbit hole. You don't have to write all that out. But it's the Community Affairs channel. That's the important thing.
Okay.
And we're going to try to be here as much as we can every day, but you might want to call. Do you want to write down my phone number just to make sure we're here if you bring your friends?
I'll take it.
Yeah, my name is Paula Gloria.
When you get there.
Yeah, I like what you said about the bipolar, and I want to ask you more about the psychological and spiritual growth. But my name is Paula Gloria, and my number...
Let me write it down.
Sure, Paula.
I can only go as fast as the phone allows.
Yeah, right.
And it's usually a fast phone, but they all have glitches once in a while.
I know. No, the whole future's moving to that. I used to load long videos on YouTube, but now that I don't have a mobile phone, I can't. Paula, P-A-U-L-A.
Yeah, Paula.
And then Gloria, the second one, G-L-O-R-I-A. And my number is 212-982-0021. And let me give you my cell, too. Can I do that also, or you have to start all over?
I'll put it in the email address.
Okay. 845 901 1114. And call us to make sure we're out here before you bring your friends.
Yes.
Because we don't know exactly. We want to be here every day, but we're hoping there will not be any confrontations about us exercising our First Amendment rights to share these kind of ideas. And First Amendment is also religion.
I think that
so that gets to spirituality.
It's going to take some time before they are willing to let go and make it legal.
It's actually
legal as tobacco is.
Yeah.
You know.
We'll have more discussions about it because some have argued in court by understanding their constitutional rights and how to get out of the jurisdiction of the corporation of the United States of America, whose courts are privately held. And they have Dun and Bradstreet numbers. It's only about money. So we have to understand.
How many companies derive goods imitating that could be be made from hemp? How many different clothing threads, or sailing boats,
right.
not just for medical use. The whole tree produces so many goods.
It's true.
It would actually help the economy so much.
Right.
But they have to create order out of chaos. In order to sometimes to fix society, they have to do things being allowed to go overboard, like the crash of '29, to build up a new economy. But that was a crime. That was led by a mafia, the feds and the family that control the feds.
Let's talk more, because it's a big topic. People are winning. We don't need to actually legalize it. We just need to understand our human rights to heal and to help our neighbors. So thank you for coming and sharing your thoughts.
Thank you for allowing me to express it.
Yeah, bye. So please come on down and pick up your cards. Speak, guys. We can sign them if you want. Oh, you're going to have to come close because it's so noisy. I'm afraid. Much as I hate all my wrinkles at the show. Okay. You like me sitting here? Okay, the Pop TV show. Great. Hi, this is Paula, Gloria, and I'm coming to you from the southeast corner at Union Square, where I've understood that the street artists can still assemble as long as it's for First Amendment rights. That's for free speech. It's also First Amendment is also religion. My feeling is once you connect with the divine, the next natural impulse is you want to share with your brothers and sisters. And one thing that's so heartbreaking about the whole marijuana issue, and the more you learn about marijuana and how helpful it is that we have many, many brothers and sisters that are in cages in jail right now. 500,000, I believe, is what it is. And New York City has the highest number of busts where policemen stop people illegally, ask them to empty their pockets, and people who don't know their rights just empty their pockets. They assume that if they don't empty their pockets, the policeman is going to, that they'll be suspicious, that the policeman will say, whoa, what are they trying to hide? Follow them home and tap their phone and go into their computer and come into the house without warrants. Now, my own husband, 2 times on 2 occasions in Ulster County, the police came in without a warrant, and we're now squaring off with the judge. The judge himself signed an after-entry warrant. And these are grisly kind of matters, and I've been putting a lot of material on my TV show that has to do with law and legality. It's kind of boring stuff for a lot of people, but other people who are really under the gun and having to go to court are just gobbling it up, as I'm gobbling up all over the internet, particularly on Angela Stark's show, My Private Audio. As she brings more experts on, I listen to more and more of these experts to learn, do we really need to legalize marijuana? And we believe we don't. As long as we understand that those statutes were set up for citizens who belong to the government, set up after the Civil War in the District of Columbia. If you're a member of that government, these statutes apply to you. When the government was set up, they said they're setting up a government. They didn't say who they're setting up the government for, but because of their location in Washington, D.C., it made it seem like it had authority to be the government that would protect our rights. But it's not protecting our rights, and I think we should wise up. The pot people are wising up as they get busted so much. But now many people across America who are losing their homes, they're going into foreclosure at an extremely rapid rate. I myself, with my co-op in New York, may be dragged into housing court again, and I may not get due process. Due process means discovery. You look at all the materials, where the banks have started the so-called loan, who it was taken from, who it went to, how the hands were transferred. At any point when the title of owners, we better wait.
What'd you say?
What did I say? I said if the title of ownership breaks, then it's all illegal. However, it's not being ruled in that way in many cases. Some people are successful in the state of Massachusetts. They're starting a lawsuit against 5 of the big banks for putting things into such rapid foreclosure that there's no time for proper discovery. Now, proper discovery would eventually involve having some of the trustees come to court Charles Keating, about 20 years ago in the savings and loan bailout, did much of the same thing, and he went to jail. Today, nobody's going to jail. Now, it's not that Joe Barton, my husband, and I are for people being in jail. We are not for people being in jail. But we definitely are for members of the government who have sworn an oath to uphold and protect the Constitution and work for us. And if they're not doing their job, we need to do what a sovereign really does, which means a sovereign means somebody who is over the reins. He's holding the reins. So instead of bitching, griping, complaining, feeling like the victim, let's study up, and that's why I have this hat on, even though it's the Christmas season. And I have red on, it's hostess, just saying I want to invite you into this public access cable television space to come in and just share your thoughts. And I'm so happy I have one of the viewers today. And maybe you might, maybe Dave.
I've been watching this.
Let's put him on now.
I've been watching this show for at least 10 years.
10 years? I don't know.
I think so. At least it seems so.
Was it the whole tooth? Were you watching me when I
was watching when you were talking about India and yoga, right, and being in the spirit of where we're at.
You probably saw me when I had just a weekly show. That's what I did more spiritual stuff. Because I went 9/11 when I hooked up with Joe Friendly, and then M&M gave me a daily show, and I had Webster Tarpley on, and then I went 9/11.
I can swear I've been watching. I watch you every day around that time when you were talking about, being one with yourself and
you're not as old as you think. That hasn't been that long.
Is that right?
Yeah, maybe it's been. Do you think 5 years that I've had it daily, Joe? Remember how strict they were with us, that you couldn't be on my show leading the discussion, and if I was on your show leading the discussion, we'd get nasty letters and say our show was going to be terminated if we were seen to be working together.
On what grounds?
I don't know yet, because I don't really. I haven't studied the contract for M&M. Maybe Joe Friendly has more to say on that.
They're still doing it to you?
No, not anymore. Now it's changed. So I don't. But I do know Joe Barton, my husband. We're still working to get him back in the studio because he let a wheelchair person have a few tokes, just a few tokes. And the guy was video. Remember Bert Aldridge? He was in the wheelchair and he was shaking and he was in pain. You could see it in his face. And just a few tokes. He settled down. He smoothed out.
Yeah. Yes, that's what I'm looking forward to later.
Later. In an undisclosed location. So if you come down here and talk about it, we won't put you at risk because we know.
Just kidding.
Just kidding, of course.
Well, anyway,
Thank you, Dave.
Hey.
Anything else you want to share?
And the reason I dug you so much is the sound of your voice. It's so mellow, so like serene, like a lover talking to another lover.
That's a double-edged sword, because in my TV show when I had the holistic dentistry, the whole tooth, people would turn me on. I had a primetime spot then at 8:30, and by the way, see if you can get me on prime time in the evenings, viewers out there.
Wow.
But
let's hear it.
They would listen to my show to go to sleep.
Oh.
So you don't like to think that you're doing programming that's making people go to sleep.
I remember when I heard you for the first time, I called up a friend of mine and said, you got to listen to this chick. You know what I mean? And the following day, I woke him up to listen to you at 12. It was always at 12.
You woke him up at 11:30.
Well,
this is New York, ladies and gentlemen. We get a late start. The studios don't even open up.
He's a musician. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Oh, I'm becoming a late person too. Sometimes I think you get different thoughts. Okay, so you got your friends watching what you
yes. Oh, and he loved it also. He loved it. He had such serene.
Maybe that was someone else. I'm not usually
No,
that
I know it was you.
sophisticated.
No, I know it was you.
Have you ever seen my show with serene music behind it, Joe? I mean, I wish, but
Yeah? Okay.
maybe in the future.
Okay, it's when I heard your voice. The music came on.
What about Harold Chandler? What about him? Do you watch him?
Who?
Harold Chandler?
James?
Harold Chandler. He comes on.
Oh no! I love the bullshit on The View. You know that I always watch instead. But first I listen to him to see who he has been, and then I find it interesting. Then I would switch. But I like the gossip from The View, all that bullshit.
What about before him? You watch Amy Goodman?
Yeah, Truth Fears Change. I'm on, man.
Yeah.
I record it every day, and I send it out to friends all over the country. California, I swear Montreal, because I lived there for a while. That kind of thing. On and on, yes.
Oh, you like Truth Fears Change?
Do I like shit, man? That's what the shit is, man.
How would you describe what they have on there?
Describe it.
What kind of programs is it?
It's hard for me to. It's not hard. I know my head's. It's hard for me to express it, but it talks about the illegalities of our government most of the time, and I love the book reviews. They talk. People write books, come on and talk about their books and what kind of a world we're living in. You know, all that stuff.
They sort of complain about.
Oh, I love the complaint. That's that's what I do.
Is it sort of like examples of what the mass media systematically doesn't do?
Exactly right. Hey, I voted for Nader in the 90s, you know, because I couldn't stand the bullshit. And I remember hearing somebody saying, vote for the people that get to you, you know, that talk to you. As soon as I heard that, I said, man, Nader does. And that's when I started voting for Nader.
And where do you get to watch him talk?
Oh, on C-SPAN. And then I'm on his website. I mean, yeah. And he sends me emails, and I listen to the shit. You know, that kind of thing.
So when's your birthday?
My birthday, January 9th. The same year and date, not the same year, the same month and date of Nixon.
But also Joan Baez. Joan Baez.
Who else? Joe Meyer?
Joan Baez.
Oh, Joe Baez also. Well, that's good.
Joan Baez and Richard Nixon
All right.
on the same date?
Now it takes the edge off my birthday. Yeah. Okay. It's not such a downer. But come to think of it, Nixon, according to where the world is, our government was a liberal. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
You made peace with China?
What's that?
You made peace with China?
Yeah, isn't that something? Wow. Did we go downhill from that? Yeah. What?
So, Joe, do you want to chat it up with people here to come down? You want to welcome your Truth for a Change people to come and share thoughts, and maybe you want to complete your ideas. Do you want to sit down while David listens?
I get to sit down?
Yeah,
well, I was thinking,
because we were interrupted, you wanted to explain.
David, what do you think of my hat?
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, no, didn't I see this before at Mocha? Did you wear a cup of
Cafe Mocha when Joe Barton was
and then
doing
you wear it,
this.
and then you wear it on.
So which one do you think tells the tale?
It all does. Oh yeah. Yes.
So which Christmas cards do you want to order?
You should put amen. Amen through here. You know?
David, which Christmas cards do you want to order? And do you want signed
the
ones?
ones with just Santa, you know, looking straight up at us. I want the sale that you have, 3 for $5.
Okay.
Right? Okay. And can you gift wrap that for me?
No gift wrapping, but I'm happy to give you the card.
I like to see coalition for this.
Do you want to be on television?
No, I don't want to sit. No. Nothing on camera with me.
When's your birthday?
What's that?
Right now, we have our first sale.
No, black. Black would be perfect.
You just waited for me to open the red. I know that.
That's what I'm getting, Santa in the bush?
Is that what you want?
No, I said, I didn't have a birthday party until I was in my 40s.
Aww.
Did I?
Now this will all be different.
Were they practicing Jews?
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's number one. And very
Did I tell you that I figured
of Brooklyn, you know what I mean?
This is it. And there's a room here I can make a thing.
Maybe Joe Friendly there? What do you think?
Just say Joe Friendly. That's
What's
it.
your Hebrew name? sign it in Hebrew.
No, did I tell you I figured out the last two words of Jesus Christ on the cross?
Is what?
Enough already.
Remember Carmen Miranda?
Yeah.
Her last words were chicka chicka boom.
So anyway, if some of us are down here, if any like Harold Chan or
do the back of it. You'll just, or if you can put it, I guess put it in red so you can see it. I suppose. Because if you put it in black, we won't be able to see it. Red.
No, black is.
Black would.
You think red is more?
I think red would have shown up on the other one better.
I think so too.
So you can come and have your card signed in any color you want. Just tell us. We're very amenable.
So just say Santa or Joe Friendly? Joe Friendly Santa?
Whatever. Put that on there so it's more...
No, this is better.
You can keep it now.
Just clean me, not just Joe Friendly.
Put on top to Yorg. No, he spelled it Y-O-R-G. To Yorg. Yorg, a friend of mine. Y-O-R-G?
To Y-O-R-G?
Yeah.
So you can tell him to see his Christmas card on YouTube.
That's true too. Oh wow, that's true also.
Right.
Terrific. And if you write something in Hebrew,
Write it on the back in Hebrew.
What, Merry Christmas in Hebrew?
Yeah. Why not? Hi, you want to be on TV?
Am I on TV now?
If you want.
yeah.
What station?
Manhattan Neighborhood Network Community Affairs. Yeah.
Well, isn't it?
So we're just taking thoughts.
Everything corrupt in this world nowadays. It's scary.
Can I put you on? You're pretty.
I'm scared. What do you want to talk about?
Anything you want to talk about. Anything you want to talk about. Why did you come down today? Or, what are you looking for? Having happy holidays.
Shopping?
I'm browsing around.
Oh, right.
I'm just browsing around, enjoying the
I
scenery.
can tell.
Yes.
You have nothing memory.
Nothing. I went to the flea market up on 11th by the church, and I bought a couple of shirts.
Yes. I go there very often
Yes,
myself.
I enjoy my
What does
hair.
that say, Joe?
Merry Christmas.
Really?
Yeah.
Aw.
Can I ask you a question?
What do you think about this Christmas? Okay, question?
Are you for the legalization of marijuana?
Yeah, we think people should have access to this healing plant. We think anybody should be able to grow it and heal themselves. If you make it into an oil, it can even heal cancer and Alzheimer's. But people need large amounts and at high prices.
Yes.
When the market is regulated, you can't do that. So we want free markets for free people.
Yes.
We're free.
Can I admit that I like it too?
Yes. Welcome
I'm
to the
from the island and I love it.
Welcome to the club.
It puts me in a calm mood.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It makes me meditate.
Yeah.
Right.
It makes me feel good. It don't do nothing to me. And I have never gone to nothing other than that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm 46 years old now. I have 4 children. Healthy children. College. The youngest one is 17.
Right. Yes. Great.
And my kids have not gone to it. And I've always been respectable how I do it. They know mommy smoke their little weed. But they don't. I let them know you do not do that. You know what I'm saying?
When they're young and when they're older, they can decide
when you're
for
older,
themselves.
right? That's what I told them. When you're older, you know what I'm saying? Anything you need, come talk to me because I love it. I love it. It's good for asthma. Very good when you boil it at sea. Everything.
The United States government, which I've now found out is a privately held corporation in the District of Columbia, owns the patent on it. And in 1974, the American Cancer Society and the DEA did a study at the University of Virginia, and they showed that it was killing the tumorous cancer cells and leaving everything else alone. And so then the media picked up on it briefly, and then there was a blackout, and they changed it to the cancerous brain cells being killed to brain cells being killed. It wasn't actually a lie, but it really wasn't the truth. It kills the cancerous brain cells.
Right. So why they trying to block it?
Because there's a lot of money in chemotherapy.
Yes, pharmaceutical.
Yeah. So we have to step up to the plate and get our rights back. That's the purpose of the show. So come down again and tell people.
Yes, I love your hat. You look
Thank
wonderful. You're a
about
peacemaker. You're a peacemaker.
Thank
Good
you.
people. God bless you. All right.
So when's your birthday?
My birthday, the best birthday on earth. I'm March 18, 1965.
Okay.
Really? What are you, Joe?
March 10?
He's March 10.
Oh, why did you? Everybody.
He has a.
We connect. Pisces really connect. Every time I stop to talk to somebody, they always Pisces. Because I don't hardly talk. I talk if you talk to me, but I'm not like, I'm not pushy, you know? But I always connect with Pisces like myself. Well, I find we're very spiritual people.
Watch Manhattan Neighborhood Network at 12 noon. You're going to be on. Okay?
12
MNN. If you don't have cable, go to
I have
MNN.
cable.
Channel 34.
Channel 34.
On Time Warner.
I don't have Time Warner. I have the other one.
Oh, well, it's there through
It was in the
RCA.
80s, I think. Is it 81?
81 or 82, I think.
I have the one with the satellite dish on the roof. What you call that again? Not Direct TV, the other one. It's Direct TV. I have Direct TV. What channel?
Well, look for Paula Gloria farther down the rabbit hole.
Okay.
Farther down the rabbit hole.
Farther down the rabbit hole.
Are you online?
Yes, I am online.
We'll go to MNN.org.
Right.
MNN.org, channel 1.
And MNN is Manhattan Neighborhood Network, 2M.
Okay, I will find it.
And come down and buy some Christmas cards for us. Tell people to come and support community
you
TV.
sell Christmas
these
cards
are
here?
Christmas cards, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
They're $2 each, and you support a good cause, and you create awareness when you send them to people at this holiday season.
Yes. My family would enjoy that. And I have my son, father lives in Jamaica. I will send him one.
What's your name?
My name is Marie.
Marie, I'm going to give you a card because you were on our show.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you very much. I will cherish it. It's for my daughter. It's my daughter's hat. I don't want to spoil it.
How about we go like this?
She might be mad at me. If it was my hat, I would have let you do it. You know?
I got hats. You want to?
What hat?
Sure. Well, you want to give me
Come down
everything
and-
today.
Well, because you're kickstarting. This is our first day of filming. We're going to be here every day till Christmas.
I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah. So we want to be nice to everybody who's supporting us. Whoa.
So it's say about Gloria television. Go sit.
Okay, what do you want to say?
I don't know. What do you want me to say?
I want Joe. You lead it. Lead the discussion here. This is Joe Friendly with Truth for Change.
What do you
It's on
think it would be
public
like if
access
marijuana
TV.
were legalized?
I think the world will be a better place. Thank you. Everyone will be happy.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Amen. I feel like, just like weed is just like a fucking.
America-grown weed.
I don't know, man. It's just like it's a medicine. Shut the fuck up.
Just like it one at a time. 'Cause
It's like bud is just like it's a medicine, yo. Like it chills you out, you know. Yeah. This is the thing is, the only people who can't smoke weed are herbs because they want to be cool by smoking weed, and that's not cool. Okay. So smoke weed. That's good. Right?
Smoking weed is good for you.
Yes, it is. Yes. Except cancer, because yes, weed does.
Not killing from cigarettes.
No, it's not true because
We're talking business.
anything with carbon dioxide causes cancer. Sorry.
The air has carbon dioxide.
any thoughts that you have, sir?
Oh, I love weed.
Do you think medicinal implies that there's something wrong with us, or even recreation's okay? What's the matter with feeling good? Isn't feeling good healthy?
Yeah.
Isn't that what sex is?
Yeah, right. That's what
I
sex
believe
is.
that weed should be legalized for many reasons. One, because it would help the economy, because it's American-grown weed. We sell it to us. Suck my dick. I'm sorry. And I think that people should be able to feel... Oh my God. I believe that people should be able to feel good if they want to.
Right.
And, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. And it's not like some kind of heroin. Like,
Do you think people think there's something wrong with
think all
sex?
drugs-
Sometimes that people don't really understand. It's so important for us to express
I think we're
ourselves.
supposed to be able to feel good. That's what Earth is about. That's what life is about.
Right.
So, like, why not? Like, we're not doing anything wrong.
Right, we're not harming anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still have to wait out.
Excuse me.
You like that one?
What's that?
You want to know if you can have it, and they sell for $100.
If you like it, you're on Manhattan Neighborhood Network, 12 noon, Monday through Friday. Or you go to Paula, Gloria, YouTube.com. But we'll be here every day. So come back again and bring your friends, whoever wants to speak. Thanks.
They set it all
Did you
on fire.
I did interrupted you.
Oh,
What are your
I don't know.
thoughts?
I just think that weed should be legal because it's fun and it makes you
Has
feel good.
anybody ever told you that it's not really illegal by constitutional law? That under the Corporation of the United States of America, the statutes apply to citizens of the United States. But when the government was set up in the District of Columbia, it was a government. And it seemed as if it was the government for the Constitution. But some people have argued that we already have the constitutional right. And you can't, if you've not harmed anyone, you've done nothing wrong. There's no victim.
I mean,
That's
it's
it.
just like,
Sid, what do you
I
have to
feel
say
like
about pot?
anything grown from the earth
Oh
should
look,
be legal.
zoom in on the pin.
No, except from opium.
Opium's good.
It's actually,
Opium is good.
I smoked it. It didn't really do anything. I just felt like I smoked eggs.
Yo, you're.
what about just everybody having free right to do whatever they want?
I believe in that.
Yeah,
I
you
definitely
believe?
believe in that.
Yeah, and people can figure out what's good for them.
Yeah, and if they don't want to smoke it, then don't smoke it. No one's trying to convince you to. Just let people do what they want. It's not
Yeah, as
killing
long as they
anyone.
don't hurt anyone.
No one has ever died from smoking bud.
Isn't that amazing?
Ever.
They've even had problems with aspirin,
I know.
but not with marijuana, no matter what the amount.
I saw this video on YouTube. She said they all this.
Corporation is called the United States of America, which we think is our government. So the study was cannabinoids as neuroprotectant. That's the patent. They have a patent on it, 2004. So the reason you can't say that you have cancer is the American Cancer Society owns the word cancer. So because they have a patent on the word cancer, they can control how that word is used. And that's why they say there's no cure on cancer, because you can't say it. So some clever people, I don't know how clever it is in terms of advancing the common understanding, they would say, oh, that must have been Egyptian blight disease that I cured, because we know that cancer has no cure. That way they don't have to worry about going to jail for doing something illegal. But when a word is owned by a corporation, I think that's cause for a lot of alarm.
I agree. That's just, I mean, like, it's just like the government. It's not a government.
Do
You
that
know?
right now.
It's not a union. It's just like totally like. I'm bored now.
We always roll. We public access producers. We're always
I'll be
Tape is
right
cheap.
Okay, good.
Chip space.
You don't
is
want to hear
more
his
expensive.
rap on your
Oh.
stuff. Maybe you'd rather have him gone.
Oh no, I do want you to hear this. Yeah, come back. This is to you, pal. Forget
I'll be
the
back
cigarette.
in
No, forget.
1 minute.
Come on, give it up for Jesus. Come on, for the Lord, for
Give it up
justice.
for Jesus.
Come on, just have
They
a
said
moment.
Merry Christmas
Come
and
on, a
Peace
spiritual moment. Come on back.
Be right back.
No, don't give me a spot.
Here, I'll give you a... Not a cigarette way.
All right, here's it. I'm going to do it without him. Here we go. I'll say, Joe, let me give you a lesson in what frivolous papers means. Frivolous papers are the insult to a judge's intelligence to give him so many words to read that it would take him...
It's a 14-page brief, including your pages of the demurrer, which was beautiful language, hardly insulting.
So, what I was going to suggest is that you apologize to the judge for unnecessary wordiness.
It wasn't.
Hey, she says it wasn't unnecessarily wordy. Come on, Joe. Hey.
Well, show me where it's wordy. Show me where it's wordy.
Oh, it's worse than he's here.
I'm his wife.
So,
I love what you said about laughter.
No,
that was so deep. That people laugh on pot and that they lose their energy for the thought that they had right before they burst into laughter and lost it. That's so all about Tantra and keeping, your orgasmic energy circulating and flowing instead of bursting out, having the orgasm and then it's all over. Although Joe's telling me women can have unlimited orgasms, and there's two schools of thought in the Chinese system. One, that women too have to modify the orgasm or control it not to lose their energy. And the other is that women can have unlimited orgasms and each one can get stronger than the one before, but that they keep that secret because I guess women would be too powerful, or when men would have floozies on their hands that, want sex all the time. I don't know what the reasoning is. But what you were saying about laughter and pot was really interesting to me, because it seems like it's okay for medical purposes, but not recreational purposes. And yet being happy is a good thing. And it's one of our life, liberty, and happiness, right? Our constitutional.
Anyhow, what I was going to do is blow the judge's mind by presenting to the judge the minimum number of words. And you withdraw all the other words, that just these. And I can take this thing here and take out about 35% of the words. And it would be so elegant.
Do it. Here, use a pen. I'll give it to you. You want this one? Or you want a real pen?
No, a pencil.
No. I made you a copy. So
okay, a pen.
And this is kind of...
Oh, yeah, you're right, a copy. Don't worry for a pen.
If you want this kind of pen,
all right.
Here's that. Shall I read it out while you're looking at it?
Okay.
While Joe's looking at it, I'll read it to you. It says, Affidavit of Truth and Supporting Memorandum of Law by Joseph Barton. Here, actually, you can look at it. Sui juris, sovereign man that is a living human being with allegiance to God and God only, speaking in his own right without prejudice, all rights reserved, under threat of slavery, UCCI 1-308 and UCC 1-103. We, Joseph Barton and J. Deberman, demur to pleading in this criminal proceeding because the alleged criminal laws we are charged with violating are unconstitutional. They violate our unalienable fundamental rights of liberty, pursuit of happiness, free practice of religion, and freedom of thought, which are protected by the New York Constitution and the 9th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution and other amendments, such as the 5th, 4th, 6th, and 10th. Liberty is clearly involved because there are no victims of these alleged crimes. The unconstitutional laws against cannabis are also a violation of my freedom of, well, they should have said our because it's both Joe and Jay, violation of our freedom of thought because cannabis enables us to transcend to higher levels of consciousness and to merge with the divine, which government has no authority to regulate. Regarding the right to pursue happiness, mergence with the divine makes one ecstatically happy. No government has the right to regulate between us and our Creator. Our spiritual practices do not infringe on the rights of others. It does no harm, and there is no injured party. Therefore, the court is urged to hold the burden has shifted to the state upon this showing of constitutionally protected rights at stake, and here requested to hold a hearing whether the state of New York can show that the criminal laws in question are rationally based on actual harmfulness or other state interests, or are void and unconstitutional.
Okay, we can stop right there.
But then there's a Supreme Court. Just a second. There's a Supreme Court ruling. The Constitution of these United States is the supreme law of the land. Any law that is repugnant to the Constitution is null and void of law. Marbury versus Madison, 1803.
Yeah,
okay.
That's a good one. Okay. So, what I was only going to take out, frankly, were these words. Oh, and are void and unconstitutional.
Or scratch them out. these were actually, many of these were your words.
Uh-huh.
He put in mergence with the divine, which maybe you thought was too sissy, but, mergence with the divine and our spiritual connection are pretty serious human pursuits. Okay, Joe Barton's back again. We just read the first page into the camera, and Joe was saying he wanted to present, well, he'll tell you what he'll say. While Joe's doing that, I'll keep reading because the tape's rolling.
Here's
when
what I
a
wrote.
statute goes against the Constitution, it is null and void of law. It bears no power to enforce, no obligation to obey, purports to settle as if it had never existed. Unconstitutionality dates from the enactment of such law, not from any date so branded in an open court of law. The marijuana statutes are repugnant to the New York State Constitution and the Constitution of these United States. And here's a Supreme Court ruling. If the state converts liberty into a privilege, the citizen can engage in the right with impunity. That's Shuttlesworth versus Birmingham, 373 U.S. Report 262. Take it away, Joe Friendly.
That last one sounded kind of cute. Maybe we'll throw that in. But what I'm talking about here, Your Honor, is massive cuts. That we're talking an austerity program with the War Department. That what we do here, as me, your
editor,
your spiritual advisor.
Spiritual advisor.
That what I'm calling for is surprise.
What?
Surprise.
Surprise.
We want to spring a surprise on the judge. So one way is to make some concessions. That we concede the argument for frivolousness of our papers.
No, I'm not conceding.
What? You see, it's hard to be a spiritual advisor. to be.
No, you thought voluminous. You
yeah, but I got to think. You score points for admitting you're wrong when you're wrong. Get a load of it. To be wrong and admit it. You can get sanctified.
When your paperwork are Supreme Court rulings that have never been overturned, they can't be called frivolous. That's absurd.
Your Honor, we're talking about absurdity. And I'm glad Mr. Barton here has brought up the subject of absurdity. There is the argument in many cases, you just haven't found them yet, called absurdness through volumnicity. Some kind of word.
He didn't say it was
like
voluminous.
Too many words.
It was only 14 pages. It's a very short book.
And it's not voluminous.
No, it's the language, though. The language is challenging.
That's different than
well,
frivolous.
A court case. These people are challenging me. They came in my house without a warrant, right? Which is illegal. We do it
all the time. We're crooked. That much. Hey, come on. We're crooks.
Oh.
We all are in the business.
There's a Supreme Court ruling.
But I don't accept and yield to crooks. I don't accept and yield to crooks.
This is an outright refusal to play the game, Your Honor. And
that's good.
When a man refuses our tricks and trade, what's going on with this guy? He's got, who's that chick with him? Let's think about this.
Read this Supreme Court ruling.
Okay.
Read that out loud.
Again, you're talking the red one?
No. The Supreme Court ruling. That one?
The top of that. Okay.
Only the ruling.
Constitutional provisions for the security of a person and property are to be liberally construed. And it is the duty of the courts to be watchful for the constitutional rights of the citizen and against...
And that he thought was frivolous.
No.
Sorry.
Let him finish.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Because you took the wind out of the whole case here.
No, I hear you, man.
No, read the last word. Read the last word.
Oh, the last
words.
This court is to protect
And tell us what is the ruling, the numbers and everything. So
it is the duty of the courts to be watchful for the constitutional rights of the citizen and against any stealthy encroachments against any stealthy
encroachments.
Yeah, we just
That's
want to
sneaky, sly shit.
That means just because they've been doing it, it's sneaky to kind of wedge it in that that's legal, just because they've been doing it.
And here we have beers, B-Y-A-R. How would you know that? Beers. It could be spelled like B-E-E-R. Maybe
just spell it like it is so people can find it, please.
Spell it like it is, yeah.
But I mean the pronunciation of beer, but it's B-Y-A-R-S. No, B-R-S. No, not beer.
B-Y-A-R.
Why would I say beer on that?
B-Y-A.
I apologize.
Okay, B-Y.
Edit that out. Everything. What? Beer. B-Y. Anyhow, the point is this,
no,
guys.
Read the whole thing so that it's the numbers so people
all right, I'll do it all again. This will be
not
a new
all.
edit.
Okay. Okay.
Anyhow, guys.
Okay.
And the citation is capital B-Y-A-R-S versus U.S. 273 U.S. 28. So, my friends of logic, those who have become so enlightened as to have contempt for our whole legal system.
Who has contempt for our holy legal system?
The wise among us.
No, we love we believe it works. We believe in our system.
No, I've been running into a couple of complainers, like at their party last night.
Not the party. State of the paperwork, the 14 pages that the judge said.
Yeah, right. I want to get on that.
These are your words.
Yeah, I'm hearing it.
Some of them are your words.
Okay, so where's my man here? After I'm done, you're going to want another cigarette, I'll tell you that. No. What I have to say, pal, is surrender that you are suffering from asshole syndrome out loud upon the court's doorstep with this. But the point is, I want to win this thing. So give me credit that I'm only making you eat all this shit for some good. You know, I just have to pick on you a little.
No,
I end up with something better. Shut up.
Yeah.
Joe, but it's not just about winning. It's about the Constitution and the rights of the people. If I just go in there and say, okay, I'm going to accept all this lies, all this bullshit, just don't hurt me, don't put me in jail, then I'm accepting that the system can go that way and that this judge is allowed to do it to the next person and the next person. If I feel that I'm a sovereign human being under the Constitution, and part of the rights of the people, or part of the obligation of the people, is to stand up and protect the Constitution. And these people have, by coming in and without a warrant, that violates the Constitution. By the judge signing a warrant after the fact to cover for the police, that violates the Constitution. For me to go in there and go, oh, humble, I'm sorry, Your Honor, I'm a bad person. I'm not a bad person. They violated me. And the judge is now trying to cover for the police by forcing this to go to trial when he knows the prosecutor don't have a case. The prosecutor didn't even speak.
Not one word.
Not one word.
Except turn off the
The
tape.
judge just attacked me, said all my paperwork is frivolous. All my paperwork is based on Supreme Court rulings that have never been overturned. How can he say they're frivolous? And then he said, we're taking it to trial. And all your paperwork's been in, you can't put in no more paperwork. So if he's taking it to trial, I can't ask for a map hearing, which I have a right to. I can't ask for a Sandoval hearing or any other hearings that I might want. Or a Jinx, I want Jinx material in. He wants to take it right to trial because he wants a conviction to cover his ass. He's acting illegal. He's acted illegal. From the time he signed the warrant, he was illegal. He violated me. I'm not going to let him just keep doing it. I'm not going to go into court humble now. I got to go into court as a citizen who's not going to stand for a sovereign who's not going to stand for this anymore. If the people don't stand up, then the people are just going to keep getting it up the ass.
Take it away, Joe, for up the ass department. You can do it. You're taking it in. I can tell. You're in that space. Spiritual advisor. Advise us.
No, I was smiling inside in terms of the whole reason I embarked on this thing is I see a happy ending. And the way you're arguing is like you're saying, Joe, please don't make me suffer walking in as a loser when I am here trying to win for the people, the Constitution, our human rights. Do I have to give that up? No, that wasn't the plan. What we can do, save the whole thing, is all I was going to offer was eloquence in their face. And the eloquence that I was going to propose is that you apologize to the court for needless wording and will suffice to rest your case on the following words, and you can add like maybe a fresh paragraph. Instead of proceeding to trial, what you're calling for is a formal hearing. The state hasn't had one for the last 20 years. There is a public mood in favor of seeing the unconstitutionality laws, and let's have the hearing. That's it. You don't need all the rest of your authority. Is the frivolous part. It's like, but it's not. It's like so much. You don't need any of it. You're just making the pitch to him. Hello. You don't have to tell him what constitutional authority is. He's been to law school. He knows what constitution. You don't have to say all the different pushes that every opinion to what liberty means. You're just asking him, in the name of liberty, can you have a hearing? That's it. Man to man. Judge, liberty is involved. Why is it criminal? Is there some... We know now, in fact, we got more evidence that every time there's something good about marijuana, the government has some conspiracy to suppress it and all the rest of it. So we're talking politics here, Judge. You got some balls to do the politics thing?
No, but this judge is a tyrant. He's not going to listen to that.
What happens if you say it out loud? He's going to jump up and down and say, shut up?
Yeah. No, what he's going to do is from the...
Anyhow, that was the idea. I was going to say, instead of 14 pages... You were going to say, I apologize, it was maybe a little too wordy for you. How about just this, pal? That was the idea. Nice and simple, not so many words. We're just saying it's liberty, we should have a hearing, not a trial, a hearing. That's it.
Why don't you write that paperwork up, Joe?
Okay.
And what we'll do is...
And there's no guarantee I'm going to go with it, but...
No, but I'm suggesting that you write it up and we put it on Angela Stark's web page. She's creating a web page for Paula, Gloria, and Joe Barton. So we could put it up as an example.
Well, I'll read it out loud.
What was submitted.
I'll read it out loud right now. Okay.
This is the one that I already submitted, but you just made a couple little changes.
Tiny, and I said, well, you'll sacrifice the rest of it. And the rest of the 14 pages, we're saying that you're going to burn them as a sacrifice for
No, I'm not willing to back off on this stuff. The Supreme Court has ruled this where it protected the rights of the people.
Hey, wait, hold on. The reason I'm willing to sacrifice this is what this is the logic of authority. Authority, you transcend authority. You can get higher than that. These are individual pokes. You don't need any more poking. You're saying, hello, I want a hearing. That's it. You don't have to hit him over the head with all this shit if you just want a hearing. That's the frivolous part.
That'd be great.
That's it. It's like you don't get it, that you don't need this.
Joe,
you're talking to
it. Isn't it just a hearing on the constitutionality? That's good for people to hear that.
Yeah. I might go with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So speak it out, Joe, friend.
Okay. So you're saying sorry for a little. Maybe we misled you with all the extra words. We're going to give you a break, Judge. It'll be nice and clear. We're going to try. So we got
to rewrite that. You got to rewrite.
We met this
You're
guy.
Not going to say that.
This Manhattan guy gave us a play on some new words, and we're just basically going with the first page with a few minor changes.
Talk about voluminous with words, Joe. Friendly.
Now, at first, we were kind of pissed off, Judgy Wudgy, that you made the ruling without even the other side saying anything against us, But then this Joe Friendly guy, he sort of hipped us to the concept that you're supposed to have a respectable mind all by yourself without listening to anybody.
No, but he's not supposed to prosecute from the bench, and that's exactly what he was doing.
No, he can go right at your papers. He doesn't have to wait for what the other side said about him.
Well, I would say if my papers were saying "fuck you, you asshole."
No, your letters
they
are
weren't
addressed
saying
to the
"fuck
court.
you, you asshole."
They weren't addressed to the DA. So you're making...
No, they were addressed to the DA.
Oh, well, I guess from the judge's point of view...
Oh, wait, this is the original. Where's the second one?
No, this is just the
I
first
didn't want
page
a
copy.
I only have really good paper left. And
How's our doing on time? Can we make a 58-minute out of this one?
Yeah, we can. 22 minutes.
Okay. No,
my gift to you.
Basically, what I like so much about this page is it's my words,
Yeah. No, they were beautiful, well crafted.
Well, there's a lot of changes I made in your words.
We'll fix that right up.
You made it all, please, Your Honor, and I love you, and you're sweet, and I went and made quite a few changes in that, because, I don't think citizens should have to kiss their ass to get justice.
You keep saying citizens.
Or
we're not
sovereigns.
Citizens of
Right.
the corporation. That's the whole problem.
Right.
It's true. We're going to hear from a Supreme
We got a
Court
new language for you guys. You ready for that? Instead of sovereign, you know what you say instead of that?
What?
One of the 99%.
No, we don't believe.
One of
in
we
that.
the people.
Oops. I was giving you an easy way out there, guys.
Thank you. But we're not taking it.
Oh.
We're not taking the plea.
Sun. I need the sun.
I know you need the sun, but it's
All right,
already set.
Here I go.
It went
All
behind
you
the
need
building.
to say to the judge, how about a hearing, motherfucker?
At least that's not frivolous. It's direct and to the point. If frivolous meant too many words, I'm not sure if frivolous means too many words, Joe. Friendly.
Oh. We want a hearing on constitutionality. A trial is inappropriate at this step in the proceedings. Sorry for the extra words, but it comes down to a challenge of criminality, and they were talking, all the stuff we had in the place to sell, just a storehouse of drugs, Your Honor, is not a harm to others. Really. That is sort of the commercial stretch to connect these little items we have stacked up here as if we are hurting anybody. That is the...
Joe, it doesn't look too respectful to put on television you lying down talking about this, does it? But if you're lying down talking about it, why don't we talk about things like the judge's soul and sleeping well at night? No, really, because this Supreme Court judge is talking from Arizona, and he's sort of come to the other side helping people, and he says that he sleeps well at night, and I think that's a message to other judges, that there is a movement of aware people who will appreciate wise rulings and constitutional rulings, and rulings that help the people versus help special interests, because that's what the pot laws are all about. It's to protect the chemotherapy and
What we want for the American people...
Would you lie down here next to me out for the camera's sake?
What we want for the American people is fairness and justice in the courts. I mean, real justice. Not the bullshit that they're handing out, and all the slick games to trick you under their jurisdiction. All that is fraudulent, They don't have jurisdiction with all these statutes and with all these acts and with all these rules, and they use nothing but trickery.
Their intention is to deceive.
To get you under their jurisdiction, and that in itself is fraud. The government is perpetrating fraud on the American people every day in every court in this country.
Amen,
and until
brother.
the people wake up and start standing up in court and saying this is unacceptable conduct.
Now wait. Let's jump to this point here. We're saying we, the 99%.
No, we don't subscribe. We want 100%. We want a completely united country.
Well, Paula, you're never going to get 100%.
That's not.
But who's we the people? Due process and equal protection.
No.
Who needs equal protection? The vulnerable. The rich don't need equal protection.
No,
They buy it. They buy all the protection they need.
The first 10 amendments of the Constitution was made to protect the people from government. And that's the kind of government that the Founding Fathers set up, and that's the kind of government that I'm fighting for.
Hey, wait, hold on. I hear something here. Now, wait a minute, guys.
Okay.
Hold on.
Here comes inspiration.
This is even funny, but the point is that I'm now going to be like the local proselytes are knocking on your door to change your religion kind of thing, because you guys are holding out against the 99, and we got to win you over. You got to be a member of the 99, not 100. The 99 is a revelation.
No, we didn't say we didn't consider ourselves part of the 99.
We have that when you identify with them with your soul enough to speak with their authority of saying we the 99.
The 99 don't have a cause of action, Joe. What's their cause of action?
Unfortunately, the 99, if we had 3% of the 99 really taking a stand in this country and demanding
even
change.
1%, even 1%.
What I'm hearing, fellas.
But that's the problem with you out there in America, man. You're not standing up. You're not defending. Don't just worry about your own rights. You got to worry about all those people that are in prison, that are in there wrongly. You know, if we don't change it, they're just going to keep filling more and more prisons, and America becomes a slave country. You're already enslaved. You just don't know it.
But sometimes people say that's going to make the slave master pissed off to remind him that we're figuring out that we're enslaved.
Now wait, hold on.
Well, I don't care if he gets pissed off.
I'm being the devil's advocate. I'm creating TV.
Can you,
don't get mad at the messenger. That's what they say, Joe. That's what they say.
I'm offering you guys is that to take the jump right into the 99 gets rid of all that extra traffic in your heads about the good guys and the bad guys. It does simplify.
We want everybody to be good. We want everyone to sleep well at night. That's what spiritual development is.
No,
the whole society comes together.
The 1% has corrupted our society. The politicians are bought by them. The judges are bought by them. The police now protect and do their bidding against the American people.
That is good 1% logic. We want it. That's what we want to hear, baby.
No, they sell our right of way.
Those judges and those police are part of the 99%.
The reason I'm raising the
point,
Joe, if you're complaining about the legal system, and I'm saying, hello, it's part of the whole big problem. So in terms of curing it, you're not going to try to get the legal system to act nicer. We need the revolution to happen.
We need every person to stand for truth. Stand up for the right thing. You know?
Truth is the thing. I'll
we need
to that.
Not
truth
like
is.
Me on the bottom, a little guy arguing in court can't do much. But if the senators and congressmen really said, wait a minute, we're selling out our own country, we're selling out our fucking grandchildren. And if they started doing the right thing, and if judges started saying, wait a minute, I'm selling out my country just for money. That's what they're doing it for, money.
How about this language? I got a flash here. Request for reconsideration. Rather than proceed to trial, the court is here urged to reconsider the brutally shaved, new improved version.
Brutally shaved. That's interesting that you say brutally shaved, because then you are acknowledging the Supreme Court rulings. You know, in your choice of words, in your Sigmund Freud position here, lying on the sofa, and free associating, you said the brutally shaved version means that you are acknowledging these were only 14 pages, and they were jam-packed with essential Supreme Court rulings that have never been overturned.
Yeah, and he called them frivolous. The reason he called them frivolous and threw them out is because he don't want to answer them, because he has to have a conviction.
Wait. Hold on. Answer me. You have to answer this one, you have to answer that one. So many answers.
No,
Whether you're giving me the judge a hard time, you're hitting me in the head. I'm only a judge. Oh, another one. Wait, you're not supposed to do that to a judge. Another one.
Just a second, okay. What do you...
Well, Judge, if you can't handle law, get off the bench. You hear me, Judge? If you can't handle the law, get off the bench.
But they all do.
If you can't act according to the law, get off the bench.
All the judges, anyone in the courthouse does it the same. I mean, what do you want, the real thing?
This is sort of expressive.
You want the real thing? You really want the things should be right and justice and all that? Come on, I mean, you seriously believe you can have it a good thing instead of a bad thing?
This is kind of expressive theater, isn't it?
In a certain sense.
And this judge ex-Supreme Court judge from Arizona is saying that the whole thing is an act. Everybody dresses up in costumes. The court, I'll be playing that on my show. His name is Billy Faust, Foust. And maybe after we shoot this, we can listen to some of him.
All right, so anyhow, you got the concept of what I'm doing. How much minutes? We got minutes.
We have half an hour if you want to.
Wow, really?
We want to listen to Billy Faust, and then we'll cut.
Well, no, I just want to read the whole deal here. It just says here. It says,
okay, read the whole deal.
You don't even have to name yourselves. We demur to pleading in this criminal proceeding. And therefore, trial is not yet appropriate stage in the proceedings. Because the alleged criminal laws, which are mostly possession kind of stuff, some language like that, because you don't have to characterize the laws at all. So you have to say exactly what is about them that you don't like.
No,
and they're possession laws.
No, that wasn't possession. It was growing marijuana without a license. That's what it was, right, Joe?
Right.
Growing marijuana without a license.
Right, and possession.
Oh, and possession. Okay, I guess you can't possess what you grew. You have to possess what you grew.
Just leave it that language.
Why is the possession
illegal? The criminal laws against growing and possessing cannabis. Is it or hemp? What do you want to say? Hemp? Hempish kind of stuff?
Cannabis, I like the Latin.
Cannabis
because we're dealing with law, right? Cannabis. What do you want, Joe?
I would say cannabis items.
Cannabis hemp.
Cannabis hemp.
Yeah.
Okay, cannabis hemp.
What does that mean?
Hemp is sort of farmerish. You have the vast industrial uses of it.
Okay, cannabis hemp items. So again, we demur to pleading in this criminal proceeding because the alleged criminal laws we are charged with violating involving possession and growing of cannabis hemp items are unconstitutional. Those laws, some or all, when you're saying all, are all unconstitutional. They violate our inalienable, fundamental rights of liberty, pursuit of happiness, free practice of religion, and freedom of thought, which are protected by the New York Constitution and the 9th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution and other amendments. And there I would put the period, although what I'm killing off is such as the 1st, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 10th. And the reason I'm leaving them out is because you don't have to remind him where the practice of religion is. He sort of figured out by now that somewhere in that Constitution.
No, but it's more than just the practice of religion.
But that's a lot.
No, but it comes down to freedom of thought. To transfer your consciousness from one place to another is a human right that's been.
I got it. Here's how I would change the language.
Know?
But I call that religion. That to me is religion, spirituality. Because you're going to the emergence with the divine. It's all about the divine.
Yeah, tell the judge that it's all about the divine. And therefore, anyhow, so we got here the free practice of religion and freedom of thought, which are protected by, and here's what I had been puzzling about, and here's how I want to answer it. I'll just say, make it nice and simple. By the New York Constitution and the U.S. Constitution and their amendments. Both constitutions have amendments, you're including them too. You don't have to spell out which one.
You do. Because otherwise they assume it's the 14th Amendment. And the 14th Amendment turns you into a slave. Anytime that you apply the 14th Amendment, you're saying you're a citizen of the United States,
of
America, which is a corporation, which puts you under the jurisdiction of a corporation. It's not the United States. The founding fathers set up a constitution with the states, and the states ruled. Now the federal government has become a corporation, and that corporation has made other corporations, the IRS and all these other...
thousands of them.
Right, thousands of them. And now all those corporations now override all our rights and enslave us. And until the American people break the chains of that, they're going to remain slaves.
So, Joe, do you mean by 1%, you're talking about the people that are making choices within those corporations to rape and pillage our country, throw people out of their homes, lock up peaceful pot smokers who might in other societies be considered the saints?
Yes, I'm saying that the fascist control of our civilization involves a limited number of people, like in a clique, and the way they do the clique is exchange of money, favors, and country clubs, whatever. And that is currently the rulership posturing as if it isn't happening, and they have the control of the culture. The commercial media is actively involved in stabilizing this form of predation, whatever they call it, just preying upon the 1%, preying upon the 99, and just getting as much from them as possible. But the main statistic is that in the last some number of years, 10 years, 30 years, in that period of time, I think it's only 10 years, but that would be pretty heavy duty, that the wealth of the top 1% tripled. To prove how much slack was in the system that they grabbed off from themselves that was really available for the good of the people as expressed by at least some of those decisions made with all that money getting spent. There's some good things happening. But in general, your general proposition that it's wrong what's going on invites the Joe-friendly solution, which is that let us...
Which is go wimp. I'm sorry, Joe, but you are too wimpy for me.
Well,
you're willing to accept the authority
I'm saying
of crooks.
No, I'm doing the opposite. You're missing my point, man. I'm saying that we, the people, should ASAP ceremoniously withdraw our consent from the current government, in which all three branches are terminally corrupt. So when you say, hey, what the judge did to me here ain't right, yes, that's true, because the legal system is terminally corrupt. What does that mean? There's more wrong things happening than right in a fucked up situation. We are a degraded society in which human beings are degraded, and instead of their glory, they are getting fucked in the ass by their employer, and that is what the Bible says is not the right way to run a society. And the Bible says that there are forms that civilizations take which is degenerate, and one of the things is they do this, and another thing is they have bad air, and another thing is they have crooked judges, and they spell that out in the Bible, that that's what happens when you get a civilization that goes fucked up. they start worshiping the wrong stuff, and there you go. They describe it pretty well, which fits us pretty good.
But
so
the Bible,
what do you do then? You listen to Joe Friendly, and he says, so everybody, we're just going to sing one note. Ooh, oh, just everybody tune in on one note. Yeah, that's all you got to do. Wow, that ain't so hard. And then what do you do after that? Then you jump for the truth. Ooh, you mean you commit to the truth? Yep, that's the big change. And what else you got to go? Joe, I'll tell you this. We're going to change the orientation. The obligation, the orientation is to use power for the good. That's it. When you got some power, you got the obligation in the moral system we're going to create where you're supposed to be doing good with it. That's the plan. Anybody can't play that game. We got a bunch of jungle buddies to play with. You go over there. But here's the real deal. We're just going to be good. Oh, wow. That's the revolution. Yep, that's the deal. We're going to change from the commercial way. Hey, that's different. Yep, well, that's the big revelation. Commercialism is not the good way, and we're going to get better. That bad way is what we got, you know. This is the commercial way. When you get a job working for them commercial people, it is kind of uncomfortable because you got to do all kind of shit that tears at your conscience, makes you want to drink and smoke and scratch. I mean, it does fuck up your head to work for a corporation. Or just business in general. You got to smile when it's being phony, and you got to kiss ass, and you don't want to do that because then your dignity, tell you about dignity, kissing ass and dignity don't go together. No siree, and there's a lot of that in America, and pour me another drink. So,
you know, that's a great rap, Joe, but it's not going to work until the American people really wake up, you know. And everybody, like you were saying, everybody got to start doing the right thing. But they really got to start doing the right thing. It's like, look how many people work in banks who support the banks because they need a paycheck, and yet they know that what the banks are doing is illegal and criminal, yet those people go along with it because it's their job. And the politicians go along with doing all this stuff that's unconstitutional because the government has become a corporation, and they feel like they work for the corporation and not for the American people, even though every 4 years they come out and go, oh, we need your vote, we work for you. They know they're lying to the American people every time they come on television.
Well, I will say this here, that when I walked into the U.S. Post Office where I live, and I was dealing with a teller, and she saw that I had on my baseball cap, let's replace our corrupt government. She said, wow, do I love your hat. And I took my hat and I slid it under the teller thing where you put your money. That's the end, huh?
No, keep going. I'm trying to render. Sorry, I'm multitasking.
Okay. We're
good? We're rolling. Joe just said that every time a politician gets on television, he knows he's lying to the American people when he says, we work for you. Joe and Barton, my husband, and I were saying the way we get government to work for us is standing up for our rights, and we need to navigate our way through the courts and understand what's the difference between being an American and being a citizen of a corporation that was set up really under a lot of deception.
So, like I was saying about this woman in the post office, here's my point. You know, you don't see that many women in your post office where you take the cap off your head and you slide it under their glass like it was money, you know, and then she takes it and she looks at it real good, and it says right there in the front, it says, let's replace our corrupt government. And she said, can I show this around? I said, go ahead. And she takes it out back and she shows it to all the post office employees. And they're all rooting and tooting. Right on, man.
Yeah, well, that's good. But you know what? Until we take down the court system that's so corrupt, that's what's keeping everybody in line. They got the police out there doing it, arresting people. How many nonviolent people do we have in our jails? This country jails more people than any country in the world. You know.
Here's the deal.
And I'll bet you 90% of them are victimless crimes. Most of the drug crimes, people talk about marijuana. Well, we got 200,000 or 500,000 people, marijuana people in jail. Well, that's just marijuana people. How many other drug people who did nothing else but possess drugs have it in their house? The police kick in their doors. It's criminal from the very top of our government all the way down to they now have the police on the street acting criminal. The police care no more about the Constitution. They're not trained in protecting constitutional rights.
What you're painting a picture of is political oppression.
Tell them about the governor.
Yeah, but our jails are full. The American people got to demand first.
That's your complaint.
The American people got to demand first a fair judicial system. If we don't have that, we have nothing. There's no place. They say we the people have a right to duress of our grievances, right? But if the courts pay no attention to your grievances or pay no attention to your constitutional rights, then we live in a total dictatorship. And we live in a dictatorship that's being dictated to us from corporate, a corporate dictatorship.
Hey, can we have better camera work here? We don't got the camera on the guy who's talking here.
Okay,
okay.
Governor of South Carolina and for stuff in trusts. That's what I wanted you to say.
Okay, say that.
Joe, why did the governor of South Carolina tell the police to put their stuff in trusts?
Oh, the governor of South Carolina knows that the police are acting illegal and that they could be sued. So he told the police to put their property in trust so that people can't sue them. That means if the governor, who's supposed to be watching out for the people and protecting the people's rights, knows the police are going to act illegal, so he's telling the police to protect themselves and hide their assets.
By illegal, you mean?
The governor is acting criminal in doing that.
So in other words, when you say the police doing something illegal, he knows that they're asking the police to harm people's rights.
Wait, I don't know that he
that
knows
be
that
implications.
Right, that's the implication. He knows that they're overstepping their authority, which is violation of the people's rights.
And that's his solution.
The Constitution lays out authority. The President has certain authority. Congress has certain authority. The Senate has certain authority. And all of them have abused their authority and have gone way past their authority. They've created laws, statutes, and forced the people into a jurisdiction that should not exist.
So that's it. When you say should not exist, I wanted to jump to imagining the replacement. So we got a whole bunch of bad shit.
The Constitution.
Can you imagine representatives that we managed to find and judges that we can have?
We could go back to common law.
Who wants to be a judge? Come up for it. You're really dedicated to justice. Okay. Where we have juries that really are committed.
Where we have juries that judge on reason. Is how the common law was set up. Not juries that can be manipulated by the prosecutor and by a judge. The judges say, oh, I'll tell you the law, and this person is guilty, therefore you have to find him guilty. Judges do that all the time. They limit, and they don't tell the people that under our Constitution, the jury has the final say. Even the Supreme Court can't overturn a jury's ruling. And the jury can decide this law is unjust, and I'm not going to put someone in jail. But the judges all make the juries believe it's the law. Well, when the law is actually a statute, and it's not a real law. It doesn't fit under the Constitution. It's all bullshit they've made up.
Now, let me respond this way, old buddy. When I meet up, I was born with a birthday like February 1 up until February 17. I say, hello, finally I meet somebody of this birthday, because what I got for you is a plan for an entirely new legal system. We
No,
take,
I
we like the legal system. The legal system.
I don't have a new legal system. I'm not trying to.
I do.
Even you, I wouldn't accept your new one.
I got a better
common
one.
law.
No,
I
listen,
like where the jury.
You don't think I can think up a good legal system?
Well,
I got a beautiful system.
Okay, give us your system.
Give us your system.
Here's how you work. Say, you take all the laws, all the judges, all the lawyers, even all the law books, trash it. Instead of all that, you get a judge born Aquarius, who's been tested and approved, and his soul is in the right place, and his heart and everything is the way it's supposed to be. And we give these people the power to make justice as soon as possible. You got a problem? We got phone numbers. You call up a judge. He says, what's the problem? He responds with the power of a judge. He makes a good judgment. Whatever it takes, you write a check, you make a phone call, you make justice happen. That's it. That's the new legal system. You don't have lawyers. You got the problem. You go to the judge. You got somebody you got to argue with. You may have an argument. The judge listens to the argument. That's the thing. That's the revolution. Oh, what are we going to do? We take the legal system. We got it from England. It was we were hard up. We didn't have one of our own, so we went ahead and took one from the bad guys, which was developed right from the beginning to give the rich an advantage. So we've always had a phony thing. It wasn't really justifiable, but they had politics.
The Founding Fathers didn't set up that system. The Founding Fathers didn't set up that at all. That came much later when they started going by English law and having courts and stuff. Before that, in this country, the Founding Fathers set it up so we had common law. And common law was when they brought together a jury, the jury could reasonably decide what the situation was, and reasonably make recommendations to what was going to happen. You know, it was the jury who decided, not the judge, who acted like a tyrant and ruled over people and bullied people from behind the bench. That was never what the Founding Fathers intended. The English system has come in and they've adopted it, but all that was not the intent of the framers of the Constitution, and all that's got to be scrapped.
You know, another thing.
We got to go back to the Constitution was set up by we the people, and they set it up and they made sure that there was a jury system. Unless the jury has the freedom to act as jurors, which they don't have in the system we have. The judge always says in the end, they have this showcase, a show trial, and then they say to the jury, the judge is going to tell you what the law is. And then the judge lays out a law, a set of rules, that the only way that the jury can come back with a verdict is, well, according to what the judge said and according to the law, we have to find him guilty. And most juries walk away, the biggest majority of juries walking away, not feeling so good about the decision that's gone down. And then they don't tell the jury goes away, and then they bring the person in for sentencing. And they give these excessive sentences. If the jury really knew the sentence that was involved in their decision, they would think a lot harder, and they'd feel a lot more guilt about coming in with a guilty verdict.
So they're insulated and isolated.
Right. When you got an insulated and isolated jury, you don't have any chance at justice.
Yeah, it doesn't sort of push us in the wrong way, don't it? Wow.
It's all a scam. It's all corrupt. And if you don't go into court and call it as corrupt, and call it as bullshit,
I wanted to say the word compartmentalized.
You are accepting it.
Consent.
Right. You're saying, I consent to this fucking system. I don't consent to a criminal system. I mean, they're probably going to crucify me over it, but fuck them.
So again, what I'm saying we do for our next move, everybody, and here's what I add to what I've been saying.
Do you think they're going to crucify you,
What
Joe?
I get to say before...
You think they're going to crucify you?
I think their intent
is
to railroad me and throw me in jail because I'm too outspoken and because I've been... The reason they started on this in the first place was because I'm a political activist who's been saying, I want all marijuana prisoners free. I want them all out of jail. They're all in there illegally. So they have to find me guilty. That's why the police came the first time. That's why the police came the second time without a warrant and forced their way into my house under the same guise as they came in the first time. They smelt marijuana. Of course they smell marijuana. I've been saying it's my religion for 40 years. You know?
Is this message, though, Joe, going to make people, pot smokers tend to be closet pot smokers, and that's a big problem. People don't come out. They don't stand up, even in public. Even at Union Square, a really articulate guy giving a big rap about what's going on in Colorado. He didn't want to be on camera, but he wants it legalized. He doesn't understand the sophistication of the argument here.
Well, I can't say nothing for the people that don't want to stand up, but if you don't stand up, you're giving up your rights, you know? Okay. All those people who ain't willing to stand up and want to hide, you've made yourself a slave.
It's a consent by not saying anything, a type of consent.
Well, right. We're at a breaking, or what do you call it? We're at
1
a
minute,
transitioning
Joe.
Right now.
You're going out in 1 minute. No, you go. It's your wrap. Here's your wrap, your last minute wrapping up.
I think at this point we have a turning point in our history that the public is in favor of the legalization. And it would be a beautiful thing in American history if the courts were to do it in the name of liberty as opposed to it finally winning in the legislature. So I would just hope some judge would have the balls to hold it to a hearing. In this case, what we got to do is send notice to the DA, the state's attorney, the Attorney General, and say, let's have the hearing right here because I'm challenging the law as unconstitutional. And that's basically what you're supposed to be doing anyhow. When you're challenging the law, even though it's a trial court, you're asking the representative of the governor to come by and defend the law. And he can't. It is politics. It's not science anymore. You can make the case it's pretty strong. So keep it simple. That's the issue. You don't need any authorities to tell them that your right of liberty is supposed to be protected in a court.
Perfect. 15.
So you could, if you
had right. Yeah, Joe's going to edit this. This is Joe's show.
Oh, really? I got to edit.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Now you know what editing is like, how the public access producers would rather catch it on the fly.
You know, I was going to hand this guy over 5 copies on DVD I made of his event, which was a lot of people milling around like a cocktail party for toasting his book about who killed Che Guevara. And I can't say his, it was 2 guys wrote it together, Michael Ratner and Michael Stephen Smith. So I have like an hour and I make 5 copies of it, and then I say, no, I can't hand this to him, I got to go edit it. And I looked at it and I went, oh yeah, I'm so glad I'm editing it. I should have, it's like not looking first, that's doing it blind. Yeah. So producers, I have to confess, I do hand in shows to watch on public television that I forgot what they are or I haven't even seen. Yeah, I did download some stuff.
No, go on, Joe.
I'm sure every producer at M&M has turned in stuff that they didn't edit, that they didn't have time to, or editing's the hard part of it.
And they're gonna, if it's unedited, you get half of what you make. Of nothing, half of nothing. There's no motivation. We get nothing for doing this, and it's stressful. That's why Joe was talking about doing what it is?
I'll tell you what really happened was that I quit doing it with Final Cut Pro, and it took the fun out of it.
Final Cut Pro?
I ended up going on the IBM computer, and it hurts to edit when I enjoyed editing with Final Cut Pro.
Yeah.
I could do things I wanted to do and just do them. You didn't have to fight. But we got to teach you Final Cut Pro, huh? Then you already will get your own computer.
No,
you can be a simultaneous.
I don't have Final Cut Pro. Somebody gave me a computer, and I only have iMovie.
I still, after all these years, have problems just getting the computer on to something. I can turn it on, but then to get anything up or something, I can't. So I'm not even going to go there. I'm 65 years old. I don't even want to start on computer.
No, wait a second, Your Honor. Give me your hand here while I say the following. Wait, I got to get it better. Right, that's the spot. Wait, over here, where you at? There you go. Okay, now we got the grip on the hand.
That's nice. I wanted to get that.
And you notice it's not a Masonic grip, people. All you crazies out there.
Sit.
All right, you got to get this part in.
Sit. Everything. What? You don't sit?
Not a Masonic Jewish insider, Jew bankers ruling the world thing.
Right.
Public access producers.
All right, so we're talking about, what were we arguing about there?
We weren't arguing.
No, you said something you wouldn't do.
You just choose to go very wimpy with them and say, oh, you accept their authority. I would accept their authority if it was based on the Constitution. But it's a corporate structure from the top to the bottom.
No, wait, all
and
the
courts make money from putting prisoners in jail. So it's in the judge's interest to give long sentences because he gets a big bonus at retirement. And the rights of the people should not be judged, should not be in a position where when you go into court, your rights are not available to you because the judge needs a big retirement package.
I got you. Now, here's what I say back. Listen carefully.
Spit it out quickly.
You're talking to a mind. And the mind, up front, as all minds do, has the state of...
To the back a little bit more,
though. We can't hear them. We can hear you, but not Joe. I'll keep it close to Joe. Friendly. He's got
just
a soft
doesn't
voice.
talk. Yeah, he's a softie.
He's a softie, yeah.
Okay. So...
And I can't get in the handshake. The non-Masonic handshake?
Right, the non-Masonic handshake, folks. A regular, ordinary handshake.
We work construction. We make things... real, we make it working like creating a house, a building, it's work. Workers, world, worker, work, the factory, work. Waitress, work, waitress. Dishwashing, work. Selling, selling work. What a thing to do, selling.
When you go into the rabbi thing, I really can understand you. I wish you would just speak English.
It ain't the understanding. You don't like the whole trip. I can tell already. What's happening? You're looking for a tape?
No, I'm looking for another camera so I can do what I want to do here. Keep going.
Oh, it's all happening. Okay. So the reason I want to hold your hand was I want to make a strong connection with some basic grip on the judge, the law, the system, what's right, to stand for the truth. The whole thing, make good,
He's using theater to explain, which is not such a bad idea, because from this Supreme Court judge, Joe, remember about the court?
Oh, yeah, the judge. Right. So what I want to say is about the judge, how to talk to a judge. That's already the thing. And I was saying, mind, hello, you one mind,
you don't
another
talk to him like that.
No,
you don't talk to him like that. And I'm respectful in court. I don't go in and curse at the judge or be disrespectful to the judge.
Not at all.
What? All that sovereignty? What do you throw it away? What do you do? It just allows you to function better. That's what it does.
My sovereignty comes from God, as does everyone's sovereignty. All human beings are sovereign with rights from God. Now, when governments become a corporation and start taking away those rights,
then it's time for the revolution by change everything, a new form of government. And that's the time we got now. So to kvetch about how bad it is already, we're talking more than replacement.
If people don't speak up. then how does a revolution happen?
Well, it happens with the 99%. So what you're saying is you want a working group on how bad the legal system is, and then they can have a position paper in a General Assembly, and they say, mic check, mic check. Whereas a lot of people have come together and expressed their ideas, a proposal is here made for a consensus by all 99% that our legal system needs fundamental change.
You're never going to get consensus of 99% because
does our legal system need fundamental change?
88% of them are too wimpy to even speak up,
but we want
or even try to defend their rights.
What does it mean?
And a big percentage of those don't have a clue what their rights are.
Brothers and sisters, we have a man here who's expressing a well understood and obviously predictable reservation about consensus.
So how do you get consensus from...
Consensus? So many! How can 75% is enough already. Consensus? The whole thing! Give me a break already!
No, you're the one that brought up consensus, not me.
We got an objector over there in the corner. One objector, come here. What? You won't be a consensus on us. Come on, what's your complaint? We need 100%.
How do you get consensus on enlightenment from the unenlightened?
So I'll put it like this here. We were talking about going for enlightenment by the media being switched over from, instead of peddling lies, they're in the direction of the public waking up, seeing the truth
we need
for
the
what
media.
it is.
That we do.
So part of the revolution is you get the nation's nervous system from a pathological to the good in the human heart, finally having a system that nurtures, encourages, guides.
I'm with you on that one. That's what we want. A system that nurtures and nourishes and guides.
Oh, such a generous thing already.
Can I have my hand back?
Oh, no. Now for the hand dance. Joe can do a thing. You didn't know about his hand dance. This guy can shake. Oh, baby, this is a shaker. Joe can shake him like
No, I'm not a shaker. I'm a rock and roller.
Now for our bass notes.
I'll attest to that.
So the idea was with the judge to keep it simple. That's the point. To surprise him with simplicity. Because when you got so many stuff around there, it is an affront to a judge to throw so many words at him. Really, that's the truth. It is like not fair to make a judge go to. It's enough already. Only 14 pages, but read the pages.
Right.
It's still running the camera.
Yeah.
Boy.
Keeping an eye on it.
Well, I enjoyed basically having you guys for friends to interact with, It's like
we love you, Joe. In spite of me yelling at Joe, I love Joe.
You don't yell, you just get very impassioned, but then you're the one facing slavery. So for Joe Friendly, it's more abstract for you, and I know you have a great love for us. And
well,
I
did not look forward to practicing law and really having to feel people's pain when they hear something bad happening. Oh, I'm sorry it happened. I made a good argument, but the judge, he didn't like it.
Yeah.
I forgot to say this when I should have said that. Oh,
but here's a crazy thing. Lindy Heiss is a lady. Lindy Heiss is a lady out in Oregon, right? And they brought her to court, right? And the judge just walked all over her rights. Nobody's paying any attention. We've been trying to help Lindy, and we would like all the people out there to be aware of Lindy Heiss's case, because Lindy Heiss had she tried to go along with what the system wanted, had a medical marijuana license. This is the mother of 2 children who they put 9 felonies on and 2 misdemeanors to intimidate her and force her to take a plea to try to take care of her children. And then when she tries to take back her plea, they're fucking with her and they're trying to intimidate her.
They're mean to her. Say exactly what they did to her in court. They did let her take back her plea, right?
No, the judge still...
They laughed at her paperwork?
No, they let her fire her lawyer.
Yeah.
and now they're going to let her defend herself, be her own person.
Well, she's going in for that.
But the judge is still going in to decide whether he's going to sentence her or not. You know, and they should be.
How can he sentence her if she's gotten rid of her lawyer and they have to do it all over again because he clearly couldn't?
Well, her paperwork, legally, she says, you have to do it over because my lawyer didn't represent me.
Right.
And my lawyer ill-advised me.
Right.
Right?
Which he certainly did.
Which, if they were really going by the law, they should give her a whole new trial. But because she pled, they're going to play that game that she pled, and therefore it's up to them to decide whether they're going to allow her to take her plea back. That's bullshit.
Now, Jay told me they don't put their pleas in writing, so she doesn't even know what she really pled to. How can they hold her to something that she doesn't even know what it is?
Because we don't have a legal system that's based on justice. It's corrupt. All they want is convictions, you know? And lawyers just always talk deals, and the deals wind up, all right, so, okay, we'll let you off, and maybe we'll just give you probation. And they know when they put a person on probation, especially pot people, that they're going to pee test, and then they're going to find them guilty, and then they come back and they sentence them. So where people take a plea thinking that I'm getting off easy, all they've done is postpone it. And later down the line, because they took a plea, the judge can sentence them to the original sentence that they would try to take a plea not to get. And, you know, a cocaine person can do cocaine, and within 3 days it doesn't show up on the P test. A heroin person, within 3 days, it don't show up on the P test. An alcohol person, within 3 days, it don't show up on the P test. But a pot person, some P tests, they can find it within 2 months.
So probation is practically a violation in the makings.
Right. It's almost guaranteed. And the system is set up so that when people are on probation, the probation officers are coming in their houses and snooping and just trying to find any reason they can to violate them. And since they took a plea, they're now going to go back, and they can't fight the case that they might have fought before and have a chance to win. They've pled guilty. Therefore, whatever the original sentence was, well, we'll give you 10 years, but if you plead to probation, you only have 3 years probation. They know they can violate you in that 3 years, and you're coming back, and you don't have a chance for a fair trial. You know, that's not the idea of justice.
What about Lindy's lawyer? Do you remember, just for the sake of elucidating to Joe Friendly, how he acted in court? He kept saying, "Can I go now? Can I go now?"
Right. Lindy's lawyer wanted to get off. When she wanted to fire her lawyer, he kept saying, "Can I go now?" to the judge, and the judge forced him to go out and consult with her again, and she had already fired him. And they just walked outside the court, and he said to her, is that what your decision is? And she said, yeah. And they went back in and said, yeah. So now they're ready to let her represent herself.
But hold on, before you go there. Worse than that, what they did was they threatened the lawyer that if he didn't cooperate somehow and keep her, they were going to subpoena the lawyer to speak against her after he had the confidentiality and all that.
Right.
Isn't that a trip?
The prosecutor wants to subpoena her lawyer because once he got fired, to testify against her in her own trial, and the lawyer don't want to be involved in that, and he's saying no, but they're saying, well, we and all this is to scare her, you know, and that's, you know, justice is not by intimidating a woman, the mother of two children, by all kinds of threats from the court, to get her to waive her rights.
Now you touch Joe Friendly, because he likes women. You see what I mean? A mother of 2 children, she follows the law of medical marijuana in Oregon, and yet this nightmare has descended upon her. And, you know, we were nervous about telling her our experience, but we saw she was a fighter. Can you explain? Angela Stark said
This isn't a situation where the federal is imposed on the state, is it?
Yeah.
No, this is all from the state.
Supposed to be. Because I would like one of those cases. Right now.
Excuse me.
It started with an ex-husband. She has a new boyfriend.
Yeah.
Right? The new boyfriend was on probation. Right? And he got violated for something. Right? And the probation people didn't seem like they really wanted to chase him. And they knew where he was. He was staying at her house. But she had a medical marijuana license to grow. Right? And when they came in because of the ex-husband complaining to the probation people, you know where the new boyfriend is. He's at Lindy's house. Go get him. So that forced the probation people to come to her house. They came with the police and a child welfare worker. Right? Now they come in the house looking for him. And then because she's growing medical marijuana and she's licensed, they go check her plants and all that stuff, and they find that
how did they get consent with the social worker? Remember the?
Right. They're threatening to take away. She might, if she don't cooperate, they're going to arrest her, and then maybe she's going to lose her kids. And the welfare workers there, the child service workers there, saying you need to cooperate with the police. Don't make things worse. And she's afraid of losing her children. So because of that, she okays them to search, which she should have never done, but she felt coerced through trickery. Our legal system shouldn't function on trickery, that the cops can lie to you, that they can bring in a social worker and threaten to take your kids, to get you to give up consent. All that, we have a government that's acting criminal. And then calling us criminals.
So we have a lot of government officials are lying like police.
Yeah,
and
all the time. I've had so many friends, and I know that the situations and the circumstances, and when the cops get on the stand, they lie. And even when they're caught in a lie on the stand, nobody ever prosecutes them. But if you lie on the stand, they say it's perjury.
So now what's guiding that is a philosophy among them that you always say things as favorable as possible to the defense. There's some kind of logic like that?
Yeah.
That's their professional secret oath to lie and cheat as much as the prosecutor needs to make his case.
Well, it becomes a good old boy system. The police round up people so the courts can make money.
It's stealthy encroachment, wouldn't that be?
So the police round people up so the courts can make money by fining them, putting them in prison. It's slave labor. And then when the police overstep their authority, the courts protect the police because they're working for the courts. And it's also the county can bring in money, can bring in revenues, and it's a slave system. And even the people who are working for a living and thinking, I'm safe, I don't break the law, you're wage slaves. They've set it up so you're only going to make so much. And they know that you're going to put away money for retirement. And when all that money, you say, well, okay, when I'm 65, I can live good. Yeah, but then they move the money around, and next thing you know, the money that you thought you were putting away for retirement isn't enough anymore because everything has gone up so much that you can't make a living. Therefore, you now can't pay your mortgages.
You know why
now you're losing your homes.
You know why it's gone up, Joe, so much? Because if you're not involved with the prison industry or the mortgage banking industry, there's practically, or health care, more people live off of cancer than die from it. And a lot die painful deaths from it.
What do you mean by off of?
Subsidiary employment.
Pharmaceutical, radiologists, doctors, all that.
Support people, technicians.
They've never wanted the cure for cancer or leukemia or any of the real diseases. They've scammed the American public saying, donate to, look at these children at this hospital and we're working on them for cancer. They're radiating them and testing them and using them to parade in front of you people so that to get your sympathy to send them money. These people do not want the cure. They're making too much money if they had the cure, they wouldn't be making the money.
Well, Joe, a lot of people don't even know this. They're sincere people working in these institutions. I'm just saying the reason there's no money left over is because it's all sucked up by these policies. We're all servicing debt, say, on the mortgages. Like, I'm going to get a forensic examiner up, Joe.
Yeah.
And he said that with $500,000 loan, with one signature, spit out $7 to $9 million of these subsidiary investments. And these subsidiary investments are sick because they're based on fraud, just like what Joe was saying. It's the they intend to deceive. That's their intention.
So our economic system has, as of '08, been exposed as...
Our system is corrupt from the top to the bottom. You know.
All right, top to the bottom,
anybody who thought that Obama was going to be any kind of change, or anybody else, they're only going to run the two people that the banks allow to run, so the banks can control this country. You know. And
we can only deal with them in court. That's why foreclosures have the same pathology as the pot busts.
Obama promised everything, and most presidents, they all run, I'm going to promise it's going to be better, I'm going to fix it.
He was an extra good promiser. I will say that about Obama. There were some really good ones he came up with.
Yeah.
What was your favorite?
He was going to leave the medical marijuana people alone and let the states decide. The federal government is tromping all over the states right now, rounding up medical marijuana people, and what they're doing is stealing their marijuana. And then I would bet any amount of money. I can't prove it, but I would bet a lot of that marijuana is going back into the pharmaceutical companies, who are going to extract the good stuff from it and create some kind of phony bullshit medicine that doesn't work. Because now the American people are now aware that marijuana, the extracted oil from marijuana, hemp oil, is a cure for many, many diseases. And there's other cannabinoids in marijuana that are very healthy for many diseases.
I dare you. How many diseases can you list right now, buddy? Come on, let's see.
No,
leukemia
I know.
Lately.
Leukemia.
Okay.
Alzheimer's.
Cancer. Diabetes. Glaucoma. So many things.
Digestive problems. Crohn's disease.
What's
Crohn's disease.
What's that one that's a fancy word for mad cow?
I don't know the fancy word for mad cow, but
mad cow, when it gets in humans, they got a name like it.
I'm suspect of a lot of their what they call diseases, but the pathologies is usually inflammation. It brings down inflammation. It's antifungal, and it makes you feel good. How could feeling good be bad for your health? How when there's no evidence of any lethal dose, it's like you said once. It's comfortable with the body's comfortable with it.
Yeah, like you said, there's no known lethal dose. It's never been. How come our prisons are full? 500,000 people for marijuana right now are in prison for something that the government knows does no harm, but yet they've through media and scare tactics, they've tried to convince the public. They used to have the movie, what was it? The film that everybody talks about, the deadly weed. Reefer Madness. That was, and ever since then, anytime any kind of findings have come out for a positive, the government comes back out, we got a new one. But none of their findings, like the time they said, we know marijuana kills brain cells. Well, they strapped the thing on a monkey's face, and they put so much marijuana in that the monkey died from asphyxiation, no oxygen, not from the marijuana. Mm. And when you die from asphyxiation, it destroys brain cells. Now the government goes in and says, we put all this smoke in a monkey and the brain cells were destroyed, therefore marijuana destroys brain cells. The government has put all this bogus information in front of the American people to convince them that this weed is evil. Well, your children are smoking it, and they know that you're lying to them when you tell them it's bad. Tell the people the truth.
I want to add an item in that direction. That I was sitting with this guy on an airplane ride, and he said that he worked for a university in California that was paid to conduct research studies with people on alcohol driving and marijuana driving and accident rates and their different testable attributes with machines. And,
right.
And he said that the findings were that marijuana was not a serious problem in driving, and the government refused to publish that study.
Yeah, the government.
Because they paid for it, they figured, fuck, we own it, we ain't gonna publish it. So that attitude about not publishing good stuff about marijuana, the story that grabbed me the most recently.
Not only did they not publish it,
but
they've gone through the libraries and destroyed all kinds of.
I was going to do that.
Okay, take it away, Joe.
This was the Virginia case.
Not just that, they went through all the libraries.
Go ahead. The library.
They went through all the libraries
under
Jimmy Carter and Ford.
Yeah.
They went through all the libraries
where there was good stuff about marijuana,
and they took it out.
They asked the libraries to
destroy.
Out of, yeah. So
speaking of libraries,
otherwise Google would have it. Google would give it to you.
Tell them about that old librarian at the Theosophical Society a long time ago. I want to get that on camera.
There's a librarian. She was a librarian at the.
She was a real old lady. Like at that time, I was only maybe about 27, 28 years old.
And she was old then.
And she was probably in her late 70s.
Theosophical Society.
Bookstore, yeah, their library, Theosophical Library. It was here in New York. I forget exactly what street. But when I went in there, I was looking for.
Excuse me, Joe. Can you try to remember? Was it in the Upper West Side, East Side,
no, East Side,
downtown?
I really don't remember.
Okay.
I would guess
because I'm trying to find it and I can't.
Yeah.
You could Google around?
But anyway, when I went in there...
This is way before Google.
I was looking at the time. I had read all of Blavatsky's stuff, right? And I was also reading a lot of Annie Besant's stuff. But Annie Besant, for some reason, fell out of the favor with the Theosophical Society. But she had a lot of good stuff to say, right? So I wasn't being closed-minded just because somebody else decided that maybe she didn't have something to say or didn't agree with her.
No, wasn't she the president at one time, Annie Besant?
For a short time, but yeah, then I don't know why she fell out with them. And,
I didn't know she fell
and out. A lot of her stuff they just got rid of,
Yeah,
and
I know.
they stopped even, they don't even mention her anymore.
You have different branches of Theosophy.
Right.
So, yeah, go on now.
And
the librarian.
So anyway, I was looking for Annie Besant's stuff, and she didn't have it. But she told me, you really should read this book. That was she said, there's only two known in existence. One is in the Library of Congress, and the Theosophical Society had the other one. And this was the only authorized version by George Washington of his life story. Right? And she really wanted me to read it. And at the time, I didn't have a lot of time. I was involved. I had kids, and I had, I didn't have time. I was going to go back and maybe check it out.
He was arguing his court case then,
and I was fighting court cases, right. And
but she saw he was a hippie, and probably, we're thinking it was the hemp connection, because Washington was a hemp farmer.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Right. But I never got to see it, and I would love to read the authorized version of George Washington, because I'm sure that the story that we get will be a whole lot different than the authorized version that was authorized by George Washington.
And isn't it interesting that I couldn't find the Theosophical Society today that had a copy.
Yeah, I know.
And the Library of Congress, I guess some bigwig probably...
This was like 40 years ago.
Hopefully nobody's destroyed it. I hope it's somewhere. Anybody out there know where the official...
Well,
if anybody out there knows where this official book is, we really would like to read it.
Yeah.
Well, what do we already know about Washington and marijuana?
We know that he said the hemp plant should be grown everywhere. Thomas Jefferson and George Washington had hemp plantations, marijuana plantations for you people out there, right? George Washington, there's books in the Library of Congress, there's statements in the library, letters in the Library of Congress from Washington, where he said he likes to sit out on his back porch and smoke a pipe of hemp.
Take it away, Joe Friendly. He knows this part.
It's a porch thing. The porches have it. I will concede that the porch is the thing. That in these biographies, by Jefferson in particular, there is the mention of the porch. Although he uses the language veranda, it's a porch thing. And Jefferson is quoted by me regularly for the proposition that he did put it down like this: among his most fond memories, or maybe he said fondest memories, is gazing above, beyond, somewhere with a veranda in the picture. I think he says actually gazing above the veranda. Could have been like he's still up there on the second floor in his bedroom looking over the veranda, you know, and gazing as far as the eye can observe. And I usually change that to see. It sounds a little better. Seeing as far as the eye could see. But that idea of consciousness itself is beautiful, because Jefferson was trying to do good with the very idea of reason, that human beings could master reason to such an extent that they'd learn enough that they'd actually come up with wonderful ideas to do things with. And so he read this authority in this field and this authority in that field. He was like an incredible reader. And as I understand it, there is additional evidence in words and stuff of Washington and Jefferson smoking marijuana. There is an exchange of smoking implements, I heard, where Jefferson...
Here's another one that a lot of people don't know about Thomas Jefferson. And this is fact, folks. Thomas Jefferson went to France and hired smugglers to go into China, because the best hemp at the time was grown in China. And it was against the law, under penalty of death in China, to take hemp seeds out of China. And Jefferson hired smugglers to go into China and get the hemp plant, which he was looking for indica. And if anybody who knows about, most of the people who know about medicine, indica makes the best medicine. Thomas Jefferson smuggled back indica plants from China and brought back to the United States. And he hired people who risked their lives to do it.
So it's always been a controversial plant, coveted and sought after.
Well, the Chinese they knew they had the best quality, and they didn't want the seeds to get out to other countries to grow, to be competition.
So they were selling it in the world marketplace?
What were China doing with it at that point?
Yeah, right. What were they doing with it?
They were same thing that everybody was doing with hemp at that time. They were making paper. They were making cloth. All the sails and all the ropes. All the sails and all the ropes on all the ships that crossed the ocean back in them days were made of hemp.
I'm talking about getting high.
And still these days they are, right?
No, how much of it?
A lot of it, yeah.
What evidence is there, what history is there of their being hip to the mind trip, if you dig where I'm coming from?
Well, it's known that many of the founding fathers smoked it.
No, we're talking about the Chinese already. No, I mean,
the
did
Chinese.
They get it going way back where
for the Chinese, for the Chinese so much, I don't think they were smoking it so much, but they were making medicine out of it.
When you say so much, I mean, it's like, was there any talk at all about Chinese and smoking pot, or was it all opium? Or was that could be the whole deal, that because of the opium wars,
most of the opium,
come down
there was a little bit of opium in China, not much, but the English were the ones that brought all the opium in, and they addicted the Chinese.
Right. So was the Chinese saying, we don't need your fucking opium, we got pot, man? That was the question.
They might have, I don't know. That would be interesting for someone to research. I don't have the time for that. I'm too busy fighting court cases.
And that's why God gave man Google.
So talk about hemp. Talk about hemp oil on those rare occasions you're able to get it. You were talking at Union Square to somebody, and you said, because this guy liked to get high by smoking. And he said, what does oil do? Do you get high with oil? And I said, I find it very nourishing for the body. I think what I understand hemp oil does is a deep body trip in which the different systems, processes, activities of the body return from being pushed around by prevailing wrong to a more comfortable, natural way where everything kind of works together harmoniously. And the body, in some ways, when it feels some of that happening here, it sort of, okay, I think I'll sort of
ease in that direction. Anyhow, the body gets...
It shifts into a more efficient style of functioning, and then afterwards you can stay in that state over time. So, like, hemp oil is something you have to remember to take. It's not addictive at all. You know, if you've got cancer, people have to almost ply it into themselves.
Well, I have to confess, it is still for me a problem, the difference between, when I smoke, and trying to keep it happening without smoking, and being resentful that, no, I got to smoke some more to get there. Just like, I just want to hold on to it, and why shouldn't I always be this way? Why do I need marijuana to be that way? I'm just using my whole brain, and what's wrong, you know.
Right.
And then I smoke it, and boing, there's the
I think
proof
that's a
that
bad term. Why do I need marijuana? You know? For me, marijuana is a spiritual substance. You know? Why do you need to get close to God? You know? When most people, when you say, I need marijuana, people tend to think, oh, it's addictive, or you need it. You know? Well, why do you need to get close to God? If marijuana brings you closer to God, then how can that be a bad need? You know, need is a very bad word. You know.
What about this, Joe? What if over time the body says, I want to live in a country where this is legal, it's cheap, it's accessible, and I want to have more of it because I know my body can get to an even better place. And if my body starts to make adjustments, knowing that this nourishment is there, then later on, if the nourishment isn't there, it suffers. It kind of goes back to that less efficient style, but it's the style that sort of works in this dysfunctional society. So I see those who are really seriously moving forward with their spiritual development and, how would you say, like a weightlifter works on building up his muscles. You can also, it's not quite a good analogy, spiritual muscles, because it takes tact and wisdom and understanding to know when you should forget something and when you should go into it and understand it and be released from it. That's the argument. People say people run away from their problems by taking drugs.
Spiritual muscle. That's it. I see what you're trying to say. How do you develop your spiritual muscle? Do steroids help?
Spiritual steroids?
I was thinking of the word habit and strength of habit and repetition habit, but it could be chemical getting around that problem of having to do it a multiplicity in the chemical itself. We do know that marijuana in particular enhances suggestibility, and that's what we're talking about, is sort of responding to a message in the direction we're open for, and make it happen good,
Well, you mean passive suggestibility? A pot smoker will be more likely to accept?
A big piece of it, I think, already, just trying to get logical about it, is doing it with the eyes closed versus the eyes open. If the best you can do is with the eyes closed, then it's going to be pretty hard to carry much of it forward into the eyes open world. Oh. And it could be a muscle exercise.
You're talking about the third eye?
No, I'm talking about maintaining moods, faces, smiles, sense of understanding and ideas when you open your eyes that you have when your eyes are closed.
Well, you told me that too, Joe, about
the
third eye. When the third eye is open, the regular eyes are closed, and vice versa. Remember?
Yeah.
The spiritual eye is open.
But you're getting better at doing it with your eyes open now? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm getting better at doing it with my eyes open.
Okay.
So, these are precious moments when the interaction of us, television, we make happen, the thinking public minds, ideas, proposals, suggestions, revelations, urgings, answers. What was that word? Answers. A plurality of the answer department. Q and A, some more A action. Anyhow, we the people need fundamental change, and what I want to offer is language about how to make happen fundamental change, since there is a real need for that. It's my role in history. I see. I glommed onto the phrase fundamental change in public access 30 years ago. That was the name of my show.
Fundamental change in public access?
Fundamental change. Oh. And somebody called me up on the phone yesterday. Hey, Joe, did you hear on TV some guy said we need fundamental change? And I thought of you.
Oh. So he remembered your show from what years was it called, Fundamental Change?
Several. That was my opening target. Then I changed it to Radical Truth.
That was in 74? You came to do public access in New York in 74?
Yeah.
That's why he came to New York from Chicago.
I wanted to articulate a plan for fundamental change then. And here we are, ready. And I'm just a little older, but with marijuana, I can get to where I was younger. I forgot what we were talking about.
Fundamental Change was the name of your first show. You came from Chicago
right. Okay, that's right.
and New York.
So I've been preoccupied with articulation in a way that is different than normal mortals. I am basically the next generation or two, maybe the next second generation of Kindle that hasn't happened yet. And here's what I'm going to do to Kindle, baby.
I don't think Joe knows what Kindle is.
Kindle is the current currency of literature. Kindle is the system, the product as images marketed through Amazon and other major players, Sony. Kindle is the world of books reduced to electronic streams that you can buy to show on your screen as you're in the bus or jerking off.
Buy the show or buy the book? Is it a show or a book? I thought it comes...
The books are images that you see. So it's reducing books
to a show.
To images on a screen.
Words or...
The whole book. So
it looks like...
And instead of buying a book for $2.95, all the books are like 99 cents a piece. We'll just tell us the truth, and we squirt them from our machine into your machine.
This exists, or you want to do it?
No, this is going on already. This is already happening all the time.
Yeah.
That's the world of Kindle.
Okay.
Now, Joe, you say you have an improvement on that. The generation, and then the improvement of that. I'm going to tell you what that is. You know what I mean? Ready? The next, you know what I mean?
You're going to speak? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to tell you how we're going to do better, brother. We're going to do better than what's happening now. We're talking about the future. We're talking about good things happening even better. So when it comes to the presentation of text on the screen for the education, learning, communication to be going on in us, among us as a people, we want it to be good at communication. Founded on the truth, clarity, simplicity, truth, simplicity. Yeah, how do you do that? Well, my point is this. That the way we read our lines of text in our civilization presently, the way it is presented in books, is for the convenience of the printer, not the reader. And now that we have these additional dimensions of control over the graphic presentation of language and words and all that kind of stuff, it is only proper that we adopt a more reader-friendly way of presenting words on a screen than line breaks that don't fit in with the wordings in your ear balls. You know what I mean?
Well, one of the only problems that I see with that kind of a system is once all the books are on computer, if government decides that they don't want certain books, all they have to do is delete them, and they're lost.
No paper trail.
And they're lost.
No paper trail.
A solid book, someone reads it and passes it along to someone else, the book is always there and can't be deleted.
You know, you just struck I think the generalization upon that point, the big one.
I don't trust the people who control knowledge and media.
But I mean, it's the idea of it becoming totally intangible. That it's gone in an instant, as opposed to a paper trail or some celluloid.
Right.
Like right now I got tapes, but the people who do chips, they keep recycling the chips, and this information just floating around, maybe in this hard drive, maybe in that one. Oh, that one crashed. Oh no, we don't have a copy. Oh, no. But and the hard drives have a limited life. I mean, this is poor baby turning at 7,200 revolutions a minute, and all those minutes is crinkling thousands and thousands of turnings. The bearings finally go, ow, already. I got no more play, bro.
Right.
So
if we put all our knowledge on computers and computers go, there goes all our knowledge. I like hard copies.
Okay, hard copies.
Like,
now,
what about George Washington's biography?
Well, I wanted to, no, let's go back to the definitive fundamental change. How about it? Fundamental change, Joe Friendly. So the point is, what can we add? Because right now, if you follow the language, Michael Moore has attended, he's done his homework, he's attended the meetings, that's the work. As a serious intellectual, he showed up and he attended the meetings and hammered together with a consensus the following 10 points. And he has like 10 things what we want to happen now, concrete demands, And I don't remember them enough to show off. But I was impressed that among them are calling off student loans. That was a good item. We could Google it. You can do it now, or you got something else?
Well, calling off student loans means you'll have smart students who otherwise could have called off their own loans just by going to court and standing up for their rights. It's the same scam, Joe, as the mortgages, what they do.
Well, it's a scam, okay, but his idea is to...
I think it's a good thing to call off all his student loans, because what they've done is they've tricked kids into taking loans that they know when they get out of school they're not going to be able to pay it off, and if it takes them a few years to get a job, the interest is so high that these kids are working the rest of their life, or at least 10 or 20 years, to pay off a student loan.
Well, they can't do it.
It means they can't raise a family, they can't buy a house, they won't have a car.
Right.
It keeps them in a perpetual state of poverty. And this was planned by the bankers. So what we should do is forgive the student loans, forgive all those mortgages, and put the bankers in jail who were stealing from the people and using corrupt business practices to enslave the masses.
It's a tricky how they were stealing it, because it's debt. Their trade in debt. It's not really money. The students never bought money, and that's what's so hard to understand. It's not just saying, don't pay me back. It's ending a deceptive
whether
method.
You're passing, everybody keeps saying debt note. Whether you believe it or not, that piece of paper that we all know is a phony piece of shit, you still can go down and get a loaf of bread, and people can still pay their rent.
So maybe we have to stop using that. Maybe that's why the Liberty Dollar guy was so persecuted. There was one man that started to put around a dollar of gold, and he did it all legally by the Constitution, and they practically threw the guy in jail. He was successful, because it would have been the preferred currency. It actually had gold in it.
Yeah, but at this point, how do they created all this funny money, and they circulated it among the people, got the whole nation into debt on funny money.
Let me seize upon this.
And now, even the funny money can't pay the debt because it ain't real.
That's a good turning point.
So that means people can't pay off their mortgages, and they knew it. People can't pay off their student loans, and they knew it. So they have committed fraud against everybody, against the whole country.
It's not a matter of knowing it, it's that they're kind of like addicted in a bad way. We were talking about drugs don't addict you.
Yeah, their addiction is greed.
But greed and...
Not just greed, it's power. They want to control everybody. Right. They want slaves.
The greed wouldn't work without the power to control the courts. That's the problem.
Right. They control the courts.
And
not just the courts.
They
control the president. They control all the members of Congress. It's not we the people that pay their salary. It's the banks that pay their salary.
Right.
No, it's my...
Even the police aren't paid by us. Did you know that, Joe Friendly? They're paid by Interpol, an international organization.
That's a surprise.
Yeah.
Well, these outbursts have given me faith that the blood is beating well. As we go to hell. No, the point is that the economic system, I urge, being approached along the lines you were saying toward the end of your tirade, that
I always tirade. I'm good at tirade.
Now I forgot where I was at there. The money.
You're on.
The economic system, we need fundamental change of our economic system, basically. That's what we're talking about. Fundamental. And what I'm proposing here for our consensus approval is that we use our brains to the full, that we redesign our economic system from scratch. That is to say, we have the authority to reconsider all the property arrangements, the ownership, all that. We can ignore all that. And we're just sort of doing it Disneyland style. What kind of picture do we want to draw? What do we, the people, want to make happen? What do we, the people, want to make happen?
Let me ask you something, since you're Jewish and I'm not Jewish.
Yet.
Didn't the Jewish people have a thing called Jubilee? That
You're absolutely
after
right.
so many years, all debt was forgiven?
You tell it, brother. You got it right.
How about the banks take the loss,
They cheated.
and we have Jubilee, and all debts are forgiven, except the banksters who created it. They take the loss.
I go for that. I'll vote for that deal. Yeah. That Jubilee. Let's do the Jubilee.
Let everyone stay in their home without taking it. Forgive all debts of the kids who forgive all debts.
But
let the banks have gotten it from the government. Why did the banks get all this money from the government when they've stolen people's houses? They've fraudulently did contracts and paperwork, and everybody knows is learning now all the frauds that the bank has done to steal all American people's houses, and the scam that they've done to drive our youth into debt for school things. At this point, since they have violated the people, then all debts to the people should be forgiven.
Hey, that's a good argument for it. Hey, come on, you don't need God. It's the fairness of it, because they already, so therefore,
right,
like that. Yeah.
Explain Jubilee, Joe, friendly.
Jubilee is like it is here. Here's the deal. That in the Torah, the big holy scrolls of the Jews, these are the ones. These, when they come by,
right,
you stand
They're
up.
The heavies. They're the heavies.
This is the thing. This is there's God. Always God. But this is the paper and the
right, the law.
Not just the law, the stories.
Right.
The stories are already not the law. What's a story for you? You know what I mean? You know any stories in there?
Go ahead. Come on.
Tell
stories, about Jubilee.
So Jubilee is like this. The laws of man, they create problems. Should be a flushing out, a cleaning up. It's like an acknowledgement that all the rules and all the imposition is basically not a good touch with nature, but it's the best we can do. But we're going to turn it off. We're going to turn it inside out. We're going to pull the cord, and we'll just pretend it didn't happen. You're free. In other words, every 50 years, we empty the prisons. Just throw everybody out.
I'm fat. Empty the prisons every 50 years. We've been more than 50 years. Free the prisoners. Moses said it.
Most people are afraid that you're going to have murderers and sex offenders.
Well, that's the beauty of the law, is that once they see that don't happen, then they put the law and the prison in the proper perspective.
Right.
It's a learning experience. Like, wow, they weren't that bad. I know, my daughter married one of the...
my daughter. That's so nice. Nice visuals, huh?
Who's shooting?
Me.
Oh.
See that pot
Wait,
talk
you've
TV?
got this on here, and you're...
I know, it's okay.
That's okay.
It's okay. I'm showing him the footage that we shot
looking
today.
at me here. Yeah, that's a good shot. That's good.
We're down at Union Square selling Christmas cards, and I'm trying to get a lot of public access producers and viewers of Manhattan Neighborhood Network Community Television to come out and share thoughts. Okay, so much for our advertisement break. For people to come down and stand up. Just if you don't want to be on camera, at least buy a card. Joe? Jubilee? Is the idea, though, that people are going to get the debts that they actually rightfully owe?
Wait, hold on a second. Wait.
The idea is that the guys on top ain't fair. And everybody gets deep in debt, and there comes a point in time where the guys on top got to forgive all the debt of the people below them. And if everybody down the chain forgives the debt, then there's no more, then it all balances back to zero and you can start again.
And everybody stays
That's
in
how
their
I
house.
know of it, but he probably knows it more.
And everybody stays
actually,
in their house.
I'm sorry. I was a little slow. I was milking that line for all it was worth, and you went off on it. I freed all the people from the prison. But the next line after that, number 2, not the first line, the second line, said the money thing, with them owing the creditor, all that. No more. Just clean it up, It didn't happen. You know what I mean?
Right, so back to zero.
There you go.
Everybody's back at zero.
This is because God was a clever, he can see, what's the right thing to do is enough already.
Right.
The banks have been paid 12 times over, so every time they pay them, they keep going back to the same rascally system. That's the problem. They're addicted. The bankers are addicted.
So Jubilee
the
is basically based on the concept of enough already.
Right.
Maybe it would be the stealthy encroachment of the good old boyism. Remember you were saying it's a good old boy network?
Yeah, well
That's an ancient problem, a good old boy network.
Yeah, unfortunately we have the good old boy network in every county in the United States now. Everybody got their little piece of the pie and they're holding on to it and milking the people for all they can get. Courts are not there for justice. They're there to milk the people, to fine you, to collect money, to take your property.
And common law.
And if they can't get anything out of you that way, they'll lock you in jail and get money for you being there.
Yeah, which they get from society as a whole for taking care of you in prison. So they make money all these ways, which I feel.
Well, if the more people they put in prison, the more they can tell the people, you owe this debt because we got these debts and we got these bills to pay. Therefore, we're going to take more from you in your taxes. Everybody's bitching about their taxes going up, but how many people are bitching? Hey, we don't want them people in jail. You're wasting our money. And how many people are saying we don't want our troops over in fucking Afghanistan and Iraq and all over the world because you're squandering our money. So you complain about higher taxes, your land taxes went up, this tax went up, that tax went up. You've allowed the government to squander the wealth of our nation, and they've given it to the bankers.
But sometimes people want people in jail because they feel they're competing for scarce jobs. Sometimes people want to believe people belong in jail. And that greediness is in the 99%.
No,
it's not just the 1%.
The 1% has set it up. Scarce jobs makes everybody fighting for jobs,
But people traded rights for benefits. There's a laziness there. They want something for nothing. Rights are precious, priceless, right? Isn't that what Constitution means?
All you people who've accepted benefits instead of over your rights, a benefit given can be taken, and they hang it over your head like a carrot. And make you jump through hoops, and they enslave you for those benefits.
My offering for fundamental change is we consider with a broad brush the redesign of all our institutions. We rescue our culture from a degrading situation, degradation, human degradation, people pleading for jobs, which is simply the opportunity to submit too much dignity to corporate authority to keep your job, as opposed to full dignity situation where people are reasoned with rather than commanded by a hierarchy. And there is a abundant, accurate, accessible system of justice where there is a right for every wrong. When anything wrong happens, you just go to the right place and you go, hey, this happened. Oh, yeah, that happened. Oh, we'll make it here. Hello? Oh, okay, you got it? Yep.
That's how law should be. That's in the Torah. All of the ancients have understood that common law.
you know, you fell in love with that word common in the common law department. And going to law school, I always sort of was wondering where they cooked up that one. You know, it's only a C, and aren't they going for an A or a B and stuff like that?
You don't want just common, you want uncommon, exceptional,
but
extraordinary?
The idea of common law is that a jury gets to decide, but not the jury system like we have, but a jury that can vote its conscience and the jury hears all the facts, and they can decide even on the law, like, you're charging this person with this? That's bullshit. I'm not going to convict them for that. But the jury system we have, the judges tell them, I'm going to tell you what the law is. And if you say, well, this is what it is, black and white, and you have to decide between black or white, it leaves no room for conscience. It leaves no room for right or wrong. Or for, many juries walk out feeling guilty for giving a guilty verdict. And they walk out of the courtroom feeling bad and feeling guilt for it. That should not be.
Because they know they got psychologically beat into giving a verdict that they didn't really in their heart want to give?
Right, in their heart they didn't want to. They didn't want to find this person guilty and put him in jail, but the judge practiced. The whole thing is a setup. The judge says to the jury, I'll tell you what the law is, and you have to decide on the law. But our Constitution, the jury has a right to say, that's a bad law, and I'm not going to put this man in jail for that.
Remember, they said, Joe Friendly, they said Lindy could not say that she was within the legal limits of the medical marijuana law that Oregon signed in.
Even though she had a license for medical marijuana, when they're charging her with all these felonies, they're not going to allow her to say to the jury, I have a license. And if she can't say to the jury she had a license, as far as the jury's concerned and as far as the judge is going to say, well, she had the marijuana, she's convicted. That they do that all the time. The judges say, you can't argue that. You can't use that in front of the jury. You can't submit that as evidence.
What's the theory that they're not allowing her to do that? That it would help her case? Or what's their complaint?
Well, they're saying that... Let me make sure I get this straight. They're saying that she broke the law, therefore the license doesn't apply to her anymore. Because, all right, now the law is very fuzzy over there, right? It says a person applying for a marijuana permit to get marijuana as a patient, right, has a right to do that. And if they have the permit, they can get marijuana. But it also in the law, it says the person doesn't have the thing, but still has the need, they still have the right to get it. Now, she was given marijuana to a guy who had filed for his card, but hadn't been granted it yet. And he was in a lot of pain. So she supplied marijuana knowing that he's going to get his card. And the law says that you can't deny it just because he don't have a card. But they're using that saying, well, you supplied a guy who didn't have a card, therefore you were acting beyond your license, so your license don't cover you. So therefore you can't use the license as an argument in front of the jury. Well, she believed when she got the license that she was within her right to grow it and supply it to medical marijuana patients under the law. Now they've taken away any legal defense that she has by saying that.
So she could write a formal paper request to the court saying that she wants to present...
She did, and they denied it.